welcome to the EST Hangout.
This is the EST Hangout, and today's guests are...
A happy Monday morning to you. Welcome to the EST Hangout presented by White Claw Hard Seltzer. Matt Iwanyk, Tom Gazzola with you here on this Monday. Joining us, as he does every week, Murray McCourt from the Ranch Golf and Country Club, as well as the VIP Golf Show, which returns to Edmonton Sports Talk April 28th.
April 20th.
Why am I
right.
getting
you
my...
got it right.
Sweet.
Yeah, but I had it like... I've been doing that well for a while, and now all of a sudden, like, I don't know why I thought maybe the 26th.
I got excited one day, and I thought it was March 28th, and I said it on air. Murray really quickly corrected me, rightly so, and then I have not forgotten since.
Look at the weather forecast, though.
That's
Golf
why.
is not that far away.
I know.
And Clarke joining us, returning to the show with his beautiful kicks, although those are Steeler colorish.
Ooh,
Yeah.
good
So
point.
I'm not.
They could be
are
a
you a
lot of
Steeler
things.
fan?
No.
Okay, good.
No.
Then we're good.
Hey,
Then
they
we're
got a
good.
stud new quarterback, the Pittsburgh Steelers do.
Sure. Lots to talk about with Reed. Lots that's going on with him. Also, things that's going on with him and Tommy. We'll get into Tommy a little bit with that later
sweet.
on in the show. But, gents, thanks for coming on. Also, coming up sometime in this first hour, we have your keyword to qualify for the chance to win the trip for two to Las Vegas. We got keywords 4 times a day, plus on Saturdays during Hello Hockey, 2 nonstop flights, 3 nights accommodations, tickets to Cirque du Soleil, presented by Fly, YEG, and the LVCVA, nonstop flights to over 50 destinations. Your sports trip starts with nonstop flights from Fly, YEG. Your keyword for the Hangout coming up in just a few minutes. Today's day 1 of qualifying.
Can we
exciting.
qualify?
Okay.
I'm in for that trip.
Oh, not today, you can't qualify.
Oh, okay.
But
All right.
later you could try.
All right.
You could listen for the keyword text at 780-218-9999 and you'll have a chance.
Perfect.
Sounds like a plan.
I like that sly grin when he brought that up that you had there.
I like what he's
Feisty.
trying to do there. I don't think he's... Technically, I think in the rules and regs, you would be allowed.
Technically.
I think so.
We had a rules and regs discussion last Wednesday in our bi-weekly meeting. It was interesting.
See, well, there's the key. I'm not invited
Yeah.
to the bi-weekly meetings, so that means that I can win the trip.
Yeah.
Well, you'd be
Yeah.
eligible.
Yeah.
You'd be
Yeah.
eligible.
Yeah.
Let me see what the... Because it says, like, immediate family cannot win. Like, us, official staff of EST, and family members. Yeah, employees of Edmonton Sports Talk, as well as their immediate family members, are not eligible to participate.
And you're not an employee.
You're not an
I
employee.
actually pay them.
Yes.
Yeah. It's
So-
the other way around.
So you both are eligible. You
All right.
would
I
be
like it.
eligible. But
Right. I'm glad we got into the minutia of this on a Monday.
our,
On day 1 of qualifying.
this is what our
You
listeners
got to do
want.
it. You got to do it.
I need to know technicalities.
Basically, Murray, if you want, coming up at the Lock Shop later today, or Oil Stream 4 times a day, or Hello Hockey
Keep
for the
plugging it.
next 7 weeks.
Keep
Tune in
plugging
for that
it.
keyword. Text
And
us.
who- the
and you
sponsor
go into
is
the draw.
who?
Fly
Fly
YEG, the Edmonton
yeah.
International Airport, and the LVCVA.
There we go.
And from Las Vegas.
Is everyone tired today because we lost an hour yesterday? Or is that not really a thing?
No, I'm definitely.
You're definitely
yesterday
tired.
was
Well,
like
but
rough.
there's
Yeah.
also other, like you didn't get a chance to sleep on
No.
Sunday, right? Like you had to come to work earlier.
Yep.
Oh, yes, because the morning hockey
Some
game.
people, like
Yeah.
for single people, like I could just sleep in on Sunday, and I'm waking up at 9 o'clock instead of 8 o'clock. Big whoop. I got my hour. So it was going to bed was a little harder yesterday, but I was actually really good for some reason last night. I went to bed early. You guys?
Yeah, my wife's out of town. She's in Phoenix on a little girls' trip, so I've got the boys. But I actually saw the time change when it flipped on Saturday from
What were you
2 to
up
3.
to?
Yeah, we're just hanging out in the basement, just a couple buddies while the kids were sleeping. But it's always, I love when the 8-year-old has to come downstairs and tell, "Hey, Daddy, if you could turn the music down a little bit, I'm trying to get some sleep." So yeah, it was a busy weekend. A little tired, but that's okay.
That's okay.
Is that
for the
considered busy when you're up drinking till 3 in the morning? Is that
We were just hanging out, Murray. You know, I didn't say what we're doing. We are just, watching some highlights, listening to some tunes. Yeah, it was kind of
I
That's a
cannot
great
remember
Saturday
the last
night.
time I saw 3 o'clock in the morning.
no.
That's too old for that.
Well, that's a really good question. It'd probably have to. I'd say probably last summer at some point. It's probably been a while since I hit 3.
Well, you're single. That's,
Yeah, but
if you're hanging out with
3
Gazzola,
o'clock.
that's
3
every
o'clock
weekend.
is a long one. Like, but
the
it's
night,
2 o'clock, really,
yeah,
right?
exactly.
It jumps.
You think it's not bad, and then you're like, oh, it's really late. We gotta get.
Yeah.
what are we doing?
Like even in Vegas, didn't hit 3, but that was also because we had to be up really early the next day for morning show.
I did in Vegas.
Yeah, I was
I
going to
went
say.
to Taco Bell Cantina twice.
Nice.
Yeah. Thank
What's
you.
so special about Taco Bell Cantina? Is it just because you could drink at a Taco Bell?
My boy Rick from The Pint was the
Great dude.
one like talking about it, and I was like, "What's the deal with this?" He's like, "Tommy, just go there next time and experience it." And they have like dance music. I don't know if they have like a club area upstairs, but it's like 2 levels, and it's busy. And the first night we were in Vegas, had a good time. Ran into a lot of Oiler fans, and we had a bunch of libations. And I was like, I'm feeling a bit peckish, so I'm like, Taco Bell Cantina. And I went there, Murray, and I like stumbled in, and I go. You don't have to go to a cash register or till. You just go to the thing, and I see White Claw on the menu, and I'm like,
nice.
I'm gonna have a White Claw with this burrito
Nice
supreme,
Italian,
and it was delicious. And then the next morning, I was on the Hangout, and I was like, I really did not need that White Claw, but it was great, and I regret nothing. So I went and did it again the next day.
And if you told me that LTE did not stay up till 3 o'clock in the morning
did
in
not.
Vegas, come on.
He did not. There was one night I know we all went to bed, and I think he went around looking for some drinks and was out a little bit longer. But I don't think he ever got to 3. I think he even said like 2 o'clock might have been the latest. But that's because we were up at 4:30 because we had to do a show.
Yeah.
And we didn't have naps
tough.
during the day. Like there was no like, hey, let's go sit down for, at 4 o'clock and let's crush a 90-minute nap and then go enjoy the night. It was go, 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 go. Yeah. So that was like the only time we could sleep was basically between midnight and 4 a.m. And we needed a couple of hours. Yeah. So
You guys were at like, where did you go? You went to Top Golf. You went to the Sphere.
Top Golf, Sphere.
Supposed to go to Stadium Swim, but that didn't happen.
Well, it was really cold and
Yeah, it was cold.
Things didn't happen.
We had that book Stadium Swim too.
Yeah,
Didn't do it. No, we didn't go. Same thing.
They had a big storm in Vegas just like a couple weeks ago or something.
Yeah.
It's a big windstorm that just rolled through for a day. We did walk the strip, saw some things like went to the Super Bowl experience. So there was a lot of like go, 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 go.
Yeah.
And so and we had to do our shows until noon. So it was just there was no time, Murray. Oiler game.
Yep. Yeah.
There's no time to sleep. So that was the only little bit we could sleep.
Work gets in the way.
My parents hopped on that trip, and I was like, okay, whatever, that's fine. And my mom's like, well, maybe on Tuesday we'll hang out. I was like, that's the game day. I have to work. I'm busy. But they had a great time, so it was a lot of fun. A lot of fun.
You guys been to Vegas a lot then?
I went down for the NBA the playing tournament, so that was in December.
yeah? Oh,
Yeah,
fun.
so we went Wednesday to Friday, and the Wednesday was dead. Like we did Top Golf, and there wasn't really anybody there. And Top Golf's fun, but like I thought it was more of a party. There's like that pool there, and I'm like, if this was like a real night, it would have been like a vibe. It would have been awesome. And walked around. I've never seen the strip kind of that dead. And then by Thursday, it was back to usual Vegas.
Yeah.
Like it was packed. And the basketball tournament was really cool. It was a great event. But even the Thursday, we're walking in there, and they didn't have that many fans because it wasn't the Lakers games. It was Indiana and Milwaukee.
Yeah.
So they were handing out tickets for the upper bowl.
Really?
Yeah. They're like, you need to. I'm like, well, we already got decent seats, right?
Yeah.
But
It was
they just had to fill it, right?
It was a tough sell for the NBA initially this year.
Yeah.
For that.
But then the
because
Lakers game was like rammed, right? Everybody was there for
Yeah.
that. So.
It's the Lakers.
Yeah.
It's
It was great.
Lakers. LA's not that far,
Yeah.
so it's pretty easy to get there.
Yeah.
LeBron is undefeated in the in-season tournament. The Lakers are undefeated in the in-season
got the
tournament.
banner.
They've got the banner.
That
No
was
other
wild.
franchise can say they have
Could
that
say that
banner.
banner, man.
Only one franchise can't. Big
MJ
win
can't
yesterday.
say that, man.
No.
He can't say that.
Wilt, no. Magic, no. Kobe, no. Only LeBron can say that. And then the Lakers franchise.
There you
So-
go.
And
Wow.
big win yesterday against the Timberwolves as well. So
I know.
we're trending upwards.
D-Lo. But then afterwards, we were at the casino and guys are playing. A couple of buddies, they always go play poker. And when people do that, like it's fine, but it's like I won't see you for the next 3 hours.
Yeah.
like
it's a commitment unless
see you
they
later,
suck.
right? Yeah, unless they suck and they're out of there. And I started playing at it was a horses game. It's like electronic, like horse track.
Oh, Dusty loves
Dusty,
that
yes.
game.
Oh, Dude, it was so amazing. And I kept hitting, and people were coming up there like, you really know what you're doing here, hey? Like, you really got this figured out. I'm like, yeah, I think I do, actually. Yeah, I'm picking it. And then you have like 40 seconds to pick your one, but it's hilarious.
Yeah, those races go quick.
It's fun.
It's
like
fun,
the
man.
post time and stuff. There's no waiting.
Yeah.
It's gone. They're
You start
racing
winning,
again.
Yeah, they bring you drinks, stuff.
Yeah.
Feel like a VIP. You know, you're betting like, I don't know, $10 at a time. Like, it's nothing. But
And you
That
won.
is a fun
and
game.
you win. Yeah, I don't know, won a couple $100, something.
If you know what you're doing.
Yeah, if you know what you're doing, you got to.
You got to watch those horses, Murray.
Yeah.
Yeah, they picked the
Scout them out really hard.
You probably got to
That's
stay
really
for the
picking
loop.
by
Like
the
it probably
color.
reloops every like 3 hours or I don't know. Who knows, right? You probably.
Well, they flip like the starting gate to the other side of the track too.
Yeah, it
It's-
mix you up.
Yeah, it's
that's
weird.
how long
The
Destiny
horses
was
just
playing
stop
for.
and they go to the other way and they
Yeah.
race the other way around. We were tripped out by that a little bit.
I
It's a fun
enjoyed it.
time. You got to get back to Vegas. When was the last time you were there?
Last winter. I've been there a lot,
I
though.
know.
Probably 25 times in my life.
Got to go
maybe.
again.
That's a good number.
Well, we just went last year, and my wife's in education,
Yeah.
as we talked about. So our vacation
yeah.
window with my busy season in the summer is Christmas time and spring break. That's all we
Yeah.
can really get away. So my old life of 5 to 8 vacations a winter is now 2, Christmas and spring break. So, we got to experiment a little bit with some different spots with my wife.
And summer's
so-
hard to go to Vegas.
Oh, I love
the
Vegas
heat.
in the summer.
Oh, yeah?
Oh, hotter the better for me, man. I love
the
it.
same way.
Yeah.
Yeah.
To that
good.
heat?
Yep.
Oh, okay. We'd get along then, all
Yeah.
of us, with that.
Yeah.
Because I do love that.
I
But
like
I like
it.
it. That's over. Like, that's what, 110
Yeah.
or so?
I experienced like 117 one time in Arizona. I literally walked out of our garage and I think I went and like took the garbage can to the end of the driveway and I came back in and I had like nipple sweats. I'm like, what is happening?
Oh. We don't want to hear about your nipples, though.
It was bizarre.
Sweats too.
I didn't know
Not
because-
like
yeah,
the
yeah,
armpits were sweating. Or
yeah,
they just,
yeah,
I had
yeah.
nipple sweat.
I swear it was
Where's
that
it?
hot. I'm
Yeah.
like, what happened?
Who even thinks about that? Like,
Next
Not,
level.
I
That's
mean,
next
not
level
until
hot.
you
No,
experience
that's-
it. Yeah. Anyway, it was lovely.
Does anyone want a White Claw, by the way? Just want to throw that out there because we got some new ones. I bought a pack. So
I
just
can
throw
go
that
and
out there.
get.
Yeah. I bumped into
if you'd like.
I bumped into Iwanyk
Yes.
last night when he was on the way to the liquor store downtown to buy some White Claw. Random,
downtown.
watching a little basketball, Harlem Globetrotter
that's
action.
I was there
yesterday.
too.
Were you?
I was there too.
Every review I've heard has been actually how great it was yesterday. You were talking about it. I saw Yukon Jack yesterday, and him and his family went. They loved it. Did
Oh.
you enjoy it?
It was unbelievable. So this is the 3rd year in a row I've gone. I always bring my kids and even my 8-year-old. I was like, okay, let's get ready. What jersey we gonna wear? We got to get suited up and
Yeah.
everything for it. And he's like, I don't know, Dad, I want to go. I'm like, just trust me, you'll like it, right?
Yeah.
Because once you the routine is kind of the same thing. Like they mix it up a
is, yeah.
bit, but I've seen they do a slow motion thing and a rewind and they do like the wave and stuff. It's great, but I've seen that I don't know how many years in a row.
The
But
slow
you can't-
motion wave was super
it's
cool.
really cool. It is really cool. But you catch yourself you're just kind of smiling all the time and chuckling. Like you're like, this is pretty cool. And I think I thought they were gonna lose last night. Honestly,
It was close.
hot,
Okay.
for real.
He was on Cool Bet looking up the Washington
They
Generals
won
odds.
on a last second dunk, but on the Generals, they had a woman on the team.
I was going to ask you about her. I
This
Googled
chick,
her. Holy.
She hit 7 threes in a row. And these are deep threes
Yeah.
with a men's ball.
Yeah.
That's what Yuke was telling me, that there
they
was
were
this
playing.
female that
It
was
was
crushing.
unbelievable.
7 in a row. And I was cheering for the Generals. I was up, people around me were like, come on, man. I was like, this is unbelievable. I don't think I've
I
ever
looked
seen
her up
something
yesterday. I got to
this
get her
crazy.
name back.
You
up.
always
Yeah.
cheer for the Generals. You want to be there when the Generals win.
I wanted to buy some of the merch stand for Generals. They used to have some stuff too. They had nothing this time.
Nah.
And then we couldn't get a signature at the end of the game from the Globetrotters, their line. And then we run into her, and I'm like, gotta get a picture, gotta get a signature. And then my boys were happy. And
That's
then I was
cool.
like, it was great. But she could have hit 8, it just kind of rimmed out. But they have moments where they actually play kind of basketball, like All-Star game kind of
Yeah, yeah,
basketball.
yeah.
And that was that. And they just kept feeding it to her in the corner, and she just was
was
not
on
gonna
fire.
go. Yeah.
I'm not going to find her name. very
I thought
quickly
they were
here.
due.
I thought they were doing. It was a last second dunk, and really, if the Generals tried a little bit harder in the layup before, he shouldn't have got it pinned on the glass. I thought that was a little bit suspect on it, but
How great would it be, though, to be there when the Generals win?
Well, I was
How many
trying to
times
figure
have the
out their
Generals
record.
lost?
I think I saw between 1 and 6. I don't think it's really clear, and it's around 20,000 wins for the Globetrotters.
It's a good streak.
It's a good
Yeah.
streak. But,
Yeah.
So I was
Some
gonna-
reports say 6, while teams' official website reports they're having 3 victories against the Globetrotters in 1954, 1950, and 1971.
So not
1971,
easily.
1971 is the most storied of these and is sometimes reported as the team's sole victory. So that's
Wow.
what you're maybe coming from. But yeah, like they're absolutely due now.
They're due.
It's been too long.
I
been
could see
53
it
years.
maybe happening. Like they mess up a little bit on the script, and the buzzer goes off. And
What a
one goes
story
in,
that would
like-
be, though. Like, do you know how much ESPN would talk about the Generals beating the Globetrotters if that happened? Like, go send that to New York. Whenever next time they're in New York, have the Generals win.
Yeah.
It would be such a big story that, oh my God, the Globetrotters lost
Well,
again.
she kept hitting.
Okay,
Like,
I got her name here. Kayla Gabor
Yeah.
is her name. And she played college basketball for, I got it coming up here. But I've got to ask you about this because I know, obviously, she played 2 years in Spain and she went to Lake Erie College where she
I never heard of
had
her.
some success.
But I saw her on the sidelines, and she had like gloves on, like mittens. You see that? And she was doing all these like warm ups and
Warm-up
stuff.
stretch.
I'm like this. She's taking this seriously.
She
like,
was the
Generals
first
are here
one
to
on
play.
the court before the game practicing, and she was just draining shot after shot after shot in warm up. Then coming out at halftime, she was
Yeah,
the first
I saw
one on the
that.
court again, and then she's burying all these shots. Like, how is she not good enough to play in the WNBA?
or something.
I got no idea.
I don't know. She put on a good tryout last night.
I know. I said, if you
guys were
knew
there, it
anybody,
was-
I
it was
would be
impressive.
making a
Yeah.
call and saying, "You got to get this girl right now."
What if she's making more money as a member of the Washington Generals?
Okay, so I Googled that
Yeah.
as well because I was fascinated with this because I legitimately thought she should probably be in the WNBA. And so it says the average salary of a Washington Generals player is $132,000.
Nice.
Yeah.
And then the average salary in the WNBA is $110,000 is what I Googled yesterday. That doesn't make a whole lot of sense to me, but... And then the
Well, they play
average
a lot of
salary
games,
of the
Generals,
Harlem
right?
Globetrotters was $65,000. So the Washington Generals get way more, but the roster of the
Oh, it's
Globetrotters
huge.
was 30 people. I looked on their website.
Oh, yeah.
So they must rotate
many
people
Generals
in and
are
out.
there?
Well, I had trouble finding their roster. I had trouble finding out who this girl was. But
Yeah.
The other thing is that there could be the intangibles that doesn't make her good for the WNBA. It's like you got the world's longest drivers in golf. How many of those go and succeed on the
Yeah,
golf course for PGA events? Like you could absolutely crush that ball 400 yards,
Yeah.
but they can't finish it off as well as the others.
I have a buddy who's exactly that. He was
Yeah.
the, I think, Canadian long drive champion, junior long drive champion, like back in 2003. Could crush it like 400, like you said, Matty. But then after his approaches and his short game were a little rough.
But typically, guys that hit that far, one or two are straight. The others are
Yeah.
somewhere crooked.
In the bushes.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
And then that's where it kills you.
Yeah.
Those drops.
But I agree. That game was so entertaining last night. Like, I would go again and again and again, too.
They're just pros. Like the script and everything is so good. And the fact they get the fans so engaged in it too. Like they're doing chants.
Yeah.
They got the wave going on. They're running into crowd. He's catching a guy who's like running to get a popcorn. He's like yelling at him to stop. Like it's all mid game. I mean, they're just pros, man. They know what they're doing.
That's cool.
So
As they should, but they really
They've been
know
doing
what
this
they're
for a
doing.
bit.
They've been doing this for a
They've
while.
kind of perfected it
I
a
don't know,
little
next
bit.
year maybe they
change
lose in Edmonton,
people.
maybe.
They change people, though. If they have 40 people in their roster, they have people in and out, I guess. But I guess they're actors as well as they are athletes.
It's
I don't know.
entertainment.
It's
But
entertaining.
It's got
So
that
my-
entertainment
My
value.
wife and I were there. We had a 14-year-old niece and our 5-year-old son, and all four of us of different age categories absolutely loved it.
Yeah.
So
a good sign.
that is a good sign, absolutely.
Big Maple Sports Card saying actually, Yukon Jack said this morning on the Bear it was the top 2 most fun he's had at Rogers, not counting wrestling.
Well, he's a big LA Kings guy, that Yukon Jack.
Big LA Kings
Big
fan.
LA Kings guy.
So he doesn't have a lot of fun at Rogers because of that, then?
Part of it, yeah.
I'm just also trying to think what other events he's. Oh, I guess concerts. How many concerts would have you been to?
But you hit
Top
the
two,
nail.
though. That's
Well, but not counting wrestling.
Yeah.
So I'm just
He
trying to
can't
think.
count wrestling
He
'cause-
says not counting wrestling.
Oh,
He
wow.
said today. So like to me though, I want to call out Uke on this and that. There's not a lot of other events he probably goes to Rogers Place for.
You hit the nail on the head though when you said you have a permanent smile on your face because you're just
Yeah.
like wow, like the whole thing is just entertaining. It's
Even if you don't
nonstop.
want to, even if you're kind of skeptic, like, I've seen this before. I'm a little tired. What's up? And then you just start like laughing to yourself. You're like,
Yeah.
that was good.
And the little guy, the little person on
Hot shot.
Hot shot.
Yeah. Yeah, he's
It's
threw it
fun
down.
stuff, man.
down.
He can play. Hanging off the rim, and then doing the pull-ups
yeah.
off the rim. That's impressive stuff.
How big is it that the WNBA is coming to town?
That's huge. I mean, it's probably going to sell out in a day, like less than a day, I think, right?
Really?
It's
I
gonna
hope so.
Yeah, it's a preseason game.
Because the Raptors game sold really quick last year
yeah.
for the preseason.
Yeah, I bet this one's going to do really well as well. And Kia Nurse is going to be there with because she got traded to LA. So that's big time news, right? To have that kind of tie.
So apparently there was going to be Seattle, and then they traded Kia. So then they pushed hard to make sure they got LA to be with Seattle, so that
really?
Kia could
Oh,
come.
okay, I didn't know that backstory with
So
it.
when's
but,
this? I don't know. I don't know anything about
I want to
First
say
week of
May 5th.
May. Yeah, it's
Is
an
it?
exhibition game for the WNBA, and then their season
Yeah.
starts right up.
It was announced on Thursday last week that preseason games coming to town between LA Sparks and Seattle Storm, May 5th. Yeah, and tickets. I'm trying to see when they go on sale again.
Should be coming up.
I think
right
coming up
here.
pretty quick.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's going to be big for, women's basketball right now is blowing up, right? I think more people are excited about the NCAA tournament on the women's side than the men's side, right? Everyone wants to see what's going to happen. Caitlin Clarke and LSU got in this big fight and lost
With South Carolina.
last night, which is pretty crazy. You don't see that too often in women's basketball. So that's going to be big. And then
Paige Backers has been just destroying it again with UConn.
Yeah.
The women's side's going to actually be like,
It's going to be interesting.
there's a lot of drama that's coming into that
There
one.
is, yeah. Where the men's doesn't really have too much of that going on right now. So, yeah, that. I mean, this weekend you had the U Sport Women's National Championship at U of A. I went on Thursday. The Pandas lost in a heartbreaker.
Yeah, it was crushing.
Yeah, it was a good vibe in there though. They had a whole bunch of alum. It was loud, like it was nuts. So it was good to see that. And
They were down 2 in the 4th, and they had 5 straight free throw attempts, and they missed all 5.
I thought it was a 7 or so. Like it was painful.
Well, and back to back too.
It
Or
was-
like there's a foul on a 3. She went up the line for 3,
Missed all
missed.
3.
They immediately get the ball,
yeah.
get another foul, go right back to the line, miss the 2. It's like and they were only down 2.
Yeah.
I was like, if you make 1 even, like, it was a tough ending.
Pressure cooker.
Yeah, it was tough. It was tough. So I'm coaching like a U9 community league team, and we got to play at halftime on Saturday.
Oh, yeah?
And it was actually during the Pandas game, their consolation final, but it was pretty cool. So we were running out there. We brought the clipboards. Gave them to the coach. Said, "Why do I need a clipboard?" I'm like, "You gotta look like you know what you're doing, man. Draw the plays." He's like, "We got 5 minutes, Reed.
Yeah.
We're not running any plays." I'm like, "Just
It's
do
a
it, man.
show, Reed,
It's a
as
show.
you know.
What are we
Yeah.
doing, right?
Yeah.
You always dress
kids,
the part.
You gotta dress it. Yeah,
That's what
look
you
up
do.
on that, right?
You always have to dress the part.
Yeah. So
you are
kids-
the expert at that.
Absolutely. You got to
Kids
look
loved
like
it.
you know what you're doing. I was on that bench for Heavy Hockey Showdown, and I looked like I was an NHL
How
player.
many
did.
morsels of gum by the time that game ended?
I had 9 in my mouth.
9.
I'm not
And his mouth was like this.
straight
like,
up.
Let's go, guys.
The jaw has been bothering me as late as this weekend.
You were obnoxiously
bothering.
chewing that gum.
Yeah,
as we-
mouth full open, making sure
What do
everyone
coaches
sees
go? Do
the
they do
gun.
like the 35 pack? I'm buying now
Must
that
be.
35 pack of whatever it is.
from Costco, you just get like whatever the Trident.
I do
is
the
or-
Trident Spearmint. That's my go-to. That's
good
not what
stuff.
I had there. But
No, you were. I could hear
I had
you
those 5s.
popping those things.
or whatever. No, that was Eric.
That was Eric.
Yeah, I had the soft sticks. I don't like the hard coating.
Eric
ones.
kept
I like the
offering
soft
Dusty and I
ones.
gum, and we're like, "No, man, we're good." I think Dusty had one finally. He relented.
Maybe you guys needed it.
Yeah, we probably did. Our defense work was quite spotty.
This is the
Shame,
EST
shame,
Hangout presented
very
by
much
White
so.
Claw Hard Seltzer. There's always someone looking to ride the next wave. They're here for the ones who make their own White Claw. The difference is clear Iwanyk, Reed Clarke, Murray McCourt, Tom Gazzola with you here coming up sometime in the next 30 minutes. I don't know when exactly. We'll have the keyword for the chance to win the trip to Las Vegas. Reed, you're in today partly because Thursday, some news that was announced as I want to make sure I've got it correct.
Yeah, go for it.
Edmonton Sports Council is now Sport Edmonton. You've got the shirt on.
Yeah.
And you were the CEO of it. You and Murray and I were talking just beforehand. What was Edmonton Sport Council? There's a lot of people that don't even know what that
Yeah,
was.
yeah, yeah,
Now,
exactly.
now it's
Social media.
rebranded and you're
Here
the
we go, here we
CEO.
go.
So
I
what
saw
was
it on
that?
social media,
Yeah, so
and
this
I'm like,
is,
what is this?
This is my next adventure here, guys. So the Sport Council, I was on the board for the last about 6 months or so. It's been around for, I want to say 25, 30 years. So it's funded by the city, and its original kind of mandate was really to be to be an advocate or an educator for sports organizations in this city, right? And kind of promote sports and wellness and the Live Active plan the city put in place. So that's good. And that's been fine. But I think, as kind of joining the board, it was like, well, what else are we doing? Is that enough anymore? Is that we got to kind of catch up with the times a little bit and be there for actually sports happening in the community? So when the old executive director retired, kind of came to me and said, hey, Reed, I don't know what you're doing right now, but if you've got a little bit of time, you want to look at this, we might need some help. And I was like, okay, let me think about it. And then when I started putting it all together, I'm like, this could be actually something really cool, right? If it's done the right way, but we've got to change and adapt it and kind of grow our scope. So, we're still going to be, advocating for sports in the city. We're still going to be letting people know about events and grants, all that kind of stuff from organizations, community leagues. But the part that we're going to add to it is one legacy piece. So we'll be working with the city of Edmonton and Explore Edmonton to make sure when these big events happen, like the WNBA coming up or the U Sports final to happen, that they leave something behind as a legacy piece, right, for the community. So even with the U Sports final that just happened, we announced on the same day that we're actually doing an Edmonton grads court at the Edmonton grads old school, which is McDougall Elementary School off 109th downtown. So we're going to rebrand that court, Edmonton grads, a mural on there at the hoops, the rims, and everything. So that's kind of a legacy piece from the U Sports final, right? And we'll be announcing more of those coming. So we're going to really make sure that we hold, any of these events accountable for that thing, right? Because Edmonton supports them well. I mean, they get the volunteers, people buy the tickets, the hotels. They got to leave something behind. So that's kind of one. And then two is really like grassroots community level sporting events. So, you want to run a 3-on-3 tournament, you want to run a soccer thing, you want to run a 5K fun run in your community. You don't know how to go about doing it. Hit us up. We'll let you know how to kind of run the event, how to market the event, and then there'll be a little bit of funding support as well. And a perfect example of like the kind of events we're talking about is like the Pride of the North Side basketball tournament that AGP started, 15 years ago.
That's at Londonderry,
At
right?
Londonderry,
Yeah.
right? And
Parker was involved with that.
he started.
Andrew Parker.
I'm pretty sure he started. Yeah. So like that's thing, he just wanted to run a really cool 3-on-3 tournament with his neighborhood, his community, his buddies, and now it's blown up to this cool thing. And they got a brand new court that like the Raptors funded stuff. So those kind of like real like grassroots initiatives that they don't know how to get started or they don't know how to apply for a grant or go down that road. Hit us up and let's do that across all sports.
The legacy thing's interesting. 'Cause weirdly enough, there was supposed to be a dome, like an inflatable dome put at Commonwealth Stadium after the 2018 Grey Cup. That was supposed to be the
Was
legacy.
that
of
real
that one.
though, or was that just a?
No,
figment
this
of
was a
everyone's
Len Rhodes thing. Like
imagination?
not over like the whole stadium. I think just over the field or something. And
Oh, yeah.
nothing ever came out of that.
I think
Just
that was
thinking about
pie
that.
in the sky too.
They had the money for it. I thought like Len Rhodes talked about it and stuff.
There was, I think, when Ottawa got their CFL franchise back and they renovated Lansdowne to TD Stadium, there was supposed to be something like that as well, and it got kiboshed. I don't know, or was it Winnipeg was supposed to try that too, and it went away, just like this one did.
Yeah, and that's why you have to hold them accountable. It has to be kind of a different organization than just the city or, Explore Edmonton's doing a really good job getting these events that, there's money they're paying to get these things, which is, in a lot of ways it's tax dollars from hotels, but it is also city dollars. So to hold them and be like, hey, you guys got to leave something behind is pretty basic.
The event comes
How
here,
do you
Edmonton
do
will
that,
support you, and then something to
That's got to be in the mandate from the beginning of the conversations. Right? Like, I mean, you want to attract the event, you want to give the best sort of pitch and appeal to come here. But to say, like, most of these events, when they come, they have money already set aside for community initiatives and legacy. Like, this is not new news to them, right? Especially like the WNBA, when they're coming here, they've got that set aside. They want to leave that behind. They did it in Toronto. They built a brand new court that looks really cool, right? So to have that same sort of thing here, it's just about, I think, having that third party sort of ask those questions and be involved in the conversation, right?
So you guys will be involved with Explore Edmonton from the beginning?
Right from the beginning.
Oh, okay, that's great.
Yeah,
So how did you get involved with this overall?
Yeah, as I said, it was just me being on the board and knowing that there was an opportunity, and then jumping on it. So that's that. So we'll see where it takes, but I think it could be really cool.
I love this, and I love the new look too. It's,
I did kind of logo, switched it up. Obviously, got to get merch right away. It's kind of a day one thing.
I'm surprised that you were all over the merch right away.
Surprised.
How did he figure that one out?
How did I know?
But yeah, it's cool. In other cities, like their Sport Calgary, it's done a really good job. Ottawa's done it. Spokane's done it, which we're going to go down there conveniently around the same time as the NCAA tournament to check it out. But there's an arm there, and there's something should be done. So.
Is there going to be, like, do you guys need to work with the pro teams of Edmonton to help this? Or
I think
is this
so.
kind of separate from
No, I think the pro
them?
teams, and especially, like, we've got to work with the Oilers Foundation. We haven't had those conversations with them, really. And, working with the Riverhawks and the Stingers and the Elks and the Oilers. For sure, there's a play there to involve them and make them part of it.
That's cool.
Yep.
You talked of there's Sport Calgary, you said Sport Ottawa, and some other places. So the rebranding and everything of that, was that some conversation that you had or you led to join kind of forces with that? Are you joining forces, or are you kind of your own independent from
We're not
them,
joining
or?
forces, but it makes it a little bit clearer, right? Like when I hear Edmonton Sport Council, I heard like government bogged down. We can't get anything done. What the hell is a council? Like from day one, I'm like, this is terrible. This is a terrible name. And I know there's like an arts council, and that works out really well, and that's fine for them. But for the sports side, it doesn't. And when we started doing kind of a recap across the country in the U.S., it was very clear that like it's basically the name of the city, and or the other way around, right?
Yeah.
Sport. I'm like, okay, well maybe that's day one. Let's change this, right? And the fact that there's Sport Calgary there too, and now we're Sport Edmonton, I think that makes a lot of sense. Whether you're talking about funding wise or corporate funding wise, it's just, okay, these guys are doing this. We want to do a similar thing, a little bit different, but we're tying into that sort of model, right?
You could potentially partner up with Sport Calgary on, say, if World Juniors comes again.
100%.
If it's half and half Edmonton, Calgary, then you guys could work together, have legacy in both cities.
Exactly. Yeah.
And if somebody knows what one is, people then will, if you're Sport Edmonton, and I know what you are, there's Sport Calgary. Yeah. Are you guys the same? And a lot easier just a lot easier for those people, for others that don't know.
They might be ahead of us on where we want to go in our new vision and scope and everything, right? So, changing the name on that is probably a little strategic too.
More information if people want.
Hit the site, yeah, sportedmonton.com. There you go. And we change all the socials and everything there, so you can find it out and drop an email or text me. I think my number's actually personal cell phone number's there. So if you want to drop me a line, go for it. But yeah, interested in kind of just getting started on any sort of sporting rec event, hit us up. We can help.
Nice.
That's great. Well done. And it's gonna be fun to watch. And hopefully we like those. I've never even thought about having just people come by and leave a legacy of things that were here, but it just makes sense actually. Having the grads court now.
Well,
that's
exactly.
pretty cool.
That's pretty cool, right? And even saying the Heritage Classic just happened here, and I actually don't know if there was. I'm sure there was money that went to the Oilers Foundation or something, but that was first time in 20 years. Like if they made a bigger story about what happens, and then they did the Winter Classic, and there's a whole like video, and Andrew Ferentz they're doing a whole bunch of kind of like ball hockey courts that are also basketball courts in Seattle because it's not getting cold enough for rinks. But they did a whole project of them doing a bunch of these. I'm like, that's the kind of stuff we're talking about, right? That's that multi-sport thing. Leave that behind from it. So,
I think where we probably all heard of this is the Olympics. Is the legacy that's left behind from the Olympics. But now
if it's done well.
Yeah. Right. So you take that down to, even Edmonton Commonwealth Stadium. Yes, that was 1978. That's a pretty good legacy from 1978 that's still around, but we need something like that to kind of come back. World Cup soccer that didn't come, that could have refurbished that stadium.
Infrastructure could just be programs too, right? Maybe there's an intro to soccer, an intro to hockey program that lives on. It's funded for the next 5, 10, beyond years, right? I know even with the Stadium Series in Jersey, they have now like a Jersey girls hockey program that gets girls into hockey because that Stadium Series event that just happened, right? So it's that kind of stuff. And the examples are out there all over the place, and we'll just tap into it.
Nice. Ironically, the legacy of Olympic venues and all of that has become tarnished because...
Well, it's hit and miss.
Yeah, in Brazil, they're looking at those stadiums from the World Cup and Olympics, and they built a couple in the Amazon, and they're overrun by greenery and stuff. They just went to crap basically. So and then there's been a couple other Olympics where
I
the venues
think the Greece baseball stadium's done.
Yeah,
there's nothing that happens there in Athens.
Because Murray, you're right. That was a big thing about the games is you're supposed to have that, and
they can live on, and
these things are deteriorating.
Well, Calgary's had it for how long? right?
88,
Olympic Stadium and all
35.
that. They've had all that stuff. It was the place of Canada for a lot of the winter stuff until Vancouver came with the 2010 games. Now a lot of stuff happens out there.
Murray got injured on the bobsled track.
Yes, I did. Not fun.
Yikes.
But what a good story to tell, hey?
Amazing.
But then you flip it where you go to Brazil or you go to these other stadiums, places, and the stadiums are either overrun, torn down. They build them and tear them down.
Yeah.
And it's like, well, that was a big waste.
Yep.
No wonder this lost $5 billion.
Yeah, no
Or you get something like Olympic Stadium in Montreal that is still there, but why?
It's iconic.
1976, though, right?
Yeah.
I mean,
And you know they're renovating it.
oh, well.
$1 billion to renovate.
That's brutal.
Just to do the roof, isn't it? Or
Something like that.
Yeah.
They want to renovate that so it can keep going. And they even know no sports is going to come in. It's going to be just for like conventions and stuff. Because that's what you need. Just build a brand new one.
Did you know that when the Expos played there, like the ceiling is so low that the ball would hit the roof at times, kind of like Tropicana Field?
Maybe I'm
that
too
low?
young, and I saw this wrong, but I do recall a game where the Expos were home and there was a little bit of a rain delay.
Because
it was
there
leaking.
was a time
Because it was
Leaking.
leaking
Yeah.
and stuff,
Well,
you know?
yeah.
Rain was coming, it was leaking, they had a rain delay.
I went
now.
to
It's
an
like,
Expos game.
What was
there,
it like?
And we showed up a little bit late, and it was pretty empty. Like all the good seats going down to the first base, third base line. So we tried to sit there, and they kicked us out. They're like, "No, you can't sit here." I'm like, "Well, it's like the fifth inning. Like nobody's coming." They're like, "You got to go back up there." The interesting part is like for warming up pitchers, they still do it on like the sidelines.
Right.
Like they actually don't have a dugout.
like at Remax.
Yeah, like where the
But this
Red
is
Rocks do.
pros.
Yeah.
But the
The
Red Rocks one
majors.
is actually like kind of tucked in a little bit. It's pretty tough to hit that first base line. Like this was kind of right there, and they still had the guy in front of him like
Catch
shagging
it.
balls just
Yeah.
in case it comes. So that was a little bit interesting. And I remember seeing I've never seen so much concrete. Like the entire place is just concrete, everything. And this is when there was like MLB games going on.
Yeah.
20 years ago or whatever it was, and it didn't look good then. So I can't imagine that ever coming back and making it look like a professional venue again.
$1 billion.
Well, we'll see.
It doesn't go very far anymore, though.
Evidently.
Well, it's going to save Olympic Stadium, Murray. You take that back. We need that iconic building here in this country.
go.
And Sport Edmonton's going to
conventions.
make sure that the proper legacies are left
Sport
behind and not
Montreal.
Montreal
100%.
ones.
You gotta get Sport
Not those
Montreal
ones.
going. They're going to mimic Sport Edmonton in Montreal.
They're going to need that to make sure that doesn't happen, and then they do something else for Olympic Stadium. It's still like, and it doesn't even bring you back the Expos.
No.
Because they're not going to play there. So like,
That's ridiculous.
they paid it off, I think in 2010 or something. That's how long it took them to pay off Olympic Stadium or something. It was like, it wasn't even that long ago that they finally paid it off completely.
Yeah. That's brutal.
Just
Oh,
bring the bulldozer
Is
and tear
that
it
the
down.
word?
That is the word,
That is
Murray.
the word. Huh.
It's time for the keyword for the chance to win the trip to Las Vegas. It's EST Flyaway with Fly YEG and the LVCVA. The keyword today to text 780-218-9999. It is Nevada. 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 Text that to 780-218-9999. You have a couple of minutes. And then you got like 5 minutes. You can take my phone now. And then you could call someone after.
And you get to talk to YouTube Trev.
Very quickly, you got to talk to you two, Trevor. We've never done it with the Hangout here and stuff, so this is going to be very awkward.
Here they come. It's just flooding in now.
That's what I heard from the morning
Yeah,
show. But 780-218-9999, your chance to win 2 nonstop flights, 3 nights accommodations, tickets
just
to
text?
Cirque
No,
du
I
Soleil
thought you did.
in Las Vegas, presented by Fly YEG and the LVCVA. Nonstop flights to over 50 destinations. Your sports trip starts with a nonstop flight from Fly YEG. Visit flyyeg.com for more information. You have 4 chances to qualify each day, Monday through Friday, and then 1 on Hello Hockey on Saturdays. Grand prize draw taking place April 26th. In a few minutes, YouTube Trev is going to give someone a call. So keep your phones on if you've texted in, and we'll talk to our qualifier for the day at some point live here on the Hangout. Or we're going to attempt
Wow.
it. We're going to attempt it. We'll see if
Going
this happens.
bananas.
Yeah, this
Going
is
up.
going berserk.
Bring you back to the days of 1260.
Yeah, I remember when people would remember in the 1260, if they said it right, it would go
Yeah.
to a separate inbox.
Yeah.
And then people would misspell it. And you're like, oh my God.
Wow, that's
What-
crazy.
And I always I spelt it just now, Nevada.
And
Or Nevada.
It's because we had to remind people because they would spell the
no,
words
but I
wrong.
always got mad at Dave. I always said
Why?
don't spell it. if you want to win this, learn how to spell.
Yeah,
Like
learn
it's
how-
on
yeah,
you.
yeah.
I
Yeah.
just spelled it. I don't know what the way to go with this is.
It's
Someone
on the
texted in-
screen if they're
yeah.
not watching on YouTube.
Someone texted in Arizona. Very funny.
Oh,
Very
boy.
funny.
Well, now you're not.
Yeah.
That doesn't get you into the
Yeah.
draw.
Well,
Right.
but they're
But-
just mocking you right now by texting in Arizona.
That's cool. They don't. That doesn't help them get to Las Vegas.
They probably text in twice.
But should I spell it? Should we spell? Like, you're right. I guess I got to make it fair for the audio listeners.
Not everyone is watching on YouTube. People
That's-
are
you gotta
listening
give
on
more people are listening.
iHeartRadio,
Exactly.
iHeart, tune in,
in.
EdmontonSportsTalk.com. So I guess to balance it out from the video
Exactly.
people, I guess I got to spell it. But yeah, I got mad at Dave with that one, or we had the debates because I was like, well, you want a free trip? Learn how to spell. It's not my problem. Figure that out. Spell check, baby.
World's a harsh place, man. You know.
I know,
Gotta
I
learn.
know. But we have it up on the screen, so I guess I'll spell it moving forward. So keep your phone on in a few minutes. Hopefully YouTube Trev will call someone and we'll be able to talk to that person on the air right here on the Hangout if this works properly. I don't know if it will. I really don't. Not going to lie.
Well,
So
we'll find out.
When's the trip, anyways? It's April.
so the trip, we're going to give it away on April 26th. They have 2 months to book to travel within the year.
or
Or within a year. So you get a pick when you go. You just have to decide within 2 months.
And there'll be a
when.
Cirque show, obviously.
There's a Cirque show.
Yeah.
There's always one of them. There's a couple I think that happen.
Okay.
And depending on the day of the week, it depends on which show's happening. So you'll get 2 tickets though to one of the Cirque shows.
Yeah.
Hey, where are those lights?
Oh my!
Boy, this is fancy radio.
Where are
right
the
now, let me
lights?
tell
And
ya.
this is not even. We're doing the keyword right now. They're in my office somewhere.
Okay, I'll find it.
Okay.
Dustin Nielsen, everybody.
That's
Dustin
Yeah,
Nielsen.
looking for the lights.
He's
Look at
off
the
to
lights.
Boston Pizza and Mayo Center for the oil stream later today with Tommy. My old hood. I used to live not too far from there.
From there, yeah.
So
It's a good location.
it is.
We have a winner?
Do we have someone on the line?
No, I'm going to call them now.
Oh, okay.
Oh, YouTube Trev, everybody.
Well, talk to
There he
them out
goes.
there because I think you talking on the phone will be picked up on our mics a lot more than in the other room.
You're right.
Yeah, that's the reason.
Isn't he adorable?
First time though, so you're working out the
A
glitches
lot of kinks
here.
to work out right now. A lot of kinks. I don't even have my phone on me right now, so I can't even read text or nasty chat messages. So
Live
this
radio,
is going
that is
well.
fine
This
right
is
now.
going really well.
We had kinks at the old place, and
Not
we've
like
been
this.
doing that for. Oh yeah, I guess so. But
Not talking, figuring out where lights are mid-show.
Just want to let you know, I found the lights.
He found the lights.
Found the lights.
You don't need
There
to
you
take
go.
both. You could take just one.
You know,
Okay,
that
you
is
take
such a
both.
good point. Live radio, I mean, my God, the stuff that goes on sometimes that
Yeah.
you just
We also don't have commercials.
yes,
Yeah.
pray.
we're
totally.
right. You're right. A normal radio with the commercials, you can kind of
We always did that at the start of a commercial break. We would say the keyword, we'd
Yeah.
talk a little bit, we'd head to commercial.
Yeah,
And then it would give me 5 minutes to talk. Like right now, I could talk with Trev and figure this out.
right.
We don't have that
can't-
right now.
you
So
can't do
instead,
that.
the three of you and all the listeners have to hear me program live with
Gotta
Trev.
know.
I do remember that the cleaning crew would come in. Was it every day or every second day? And at 6 o'clock, they'd be vacuuming right beside our studio, and I'd be on the pregame show, and all the years. I'm looking at Connor Halley. I'm like, what is going on? He's like, yeah, they do it all the time.
There was one that she always. You can pass me the phone.
Look, he's very excited.
I got this. There was one person that they didn't care whether the red light was on or not. She'd come in and start cleaning up
Yep.
the trash.
Yep.
Didn't matter. Didn't matter
And
at
I would
all.
just be like, hello. She's like, hi.
So now let's give this. I think I have someone on the line. Who is this? No, I'm not getting anything right now. I could hear Eric pretty well.
Matthew's phone.
What was the name, Trav?
Brandon.
Brendan?
Brandon.
Brandon. You there, Brandon? No, I'm not getting Brandon. We'll try this later. Just grab his info, and we'll work on that for another day. So, I had the Bluetooth on. I took it off. So, Brandon was the qualifier.
Brandon.
So there we go.
Congrats.
This,
Congrats.
All right.
This was very clunky.
Fix it.
Very
You
clunky.
fix it.
And I'll figure this out
How many
after the show
qualifiers?
today.
So what's his
Fix it.
chance?
How many qualifiers will there be? That's a really good question.
There's like hundreds of Nevada texts right now. That's great.
That is
and in
awesome.
Arizona, whoever sent that in. Brilliant.
Oh,
So approximately 21 per
Yeah.
week for 7 weeks. No Good
140.
Friday.
Okay.
And
So
also,
pretty good odds.
I don't think this has been announced yet fully, but anyone that's in the Nasty Club annual memberships, on April 1st, one of you will be drawn right into the grand prize draw as well.
Nice.
Okay.
That's awesome.
Oh, I need my phone back, Trev. So yeah, the Nasty Club members, one of you will automatically go right into the draw as well.
That's cool.
April 1st, we'll announce
Like
the
it.
qualifier for that. So yeah, that was the first keyword attempt on the Hangout. Didn't work as well. We will try this again tomorrow here on the Hangout, but your next chance to qualify the next keyword coming up during the lock chop with Dusty and Huss. Dusty will be at Boston Pizza as well. So there we go.
That kind of reminded me on the VIP golf show back. I remember Hernan Salas was my producer.
Thank you, sir.
And
The Latino Heat.
he would always call the guest that was coming on next, like just as we're coming back on air. And
Yep.
this one week, I'm flying solo, doing it myself. Curtis Stock was away playing golf in BC or something like that. And Hernan buzzes in my ear saying, I think I got the wrong number. And I'm like, oh my God. So now I'm trying to carry a live radio show while looking in my phone, trying to find the right phone number
there.
and giving him my phone and trying to talk and do 4 things at once. And it's just like, oh boy, it's
chaos, isn't it?
Something crazy stuff happens sometimes. You just fight your way through it and hope the listeners are understanding when they're getting a few seconds of not
Dead
so
air.
good radio.
It
but
happens, Murray.
I
It
know,
happens.
entertainment at its finest.
Yeah.
Eh? I mean, at the Stingers games, did you have some things go hot
Well, the
haywire on you?
multitask. Oh no, there was a few things. The first year, the worst part is like, when a dance group was coming in for halftime, and like you don't have a lot of time. Like it was like 6 minutes. But
Yeah.
I think they thought they had like 8 minutes or longer than that. So they're on there, they're performing. It's going good, but they kind of started with like the older kids part of the dance team, and then they got to the younger kids. But by the time it got to the younger kids, like the players were on the court and whatever, and we had to kick them off. And we're talking like under 5-year-old kids here.
Oh, boy,
And it was
they were in
not,
tears.
yeah, it was not good. And then we tried to make up. We brought some of them back out, I think, in between a quarter. But it wasn't really a great. It's just how it goes sometimes in these kind of live situations, right? So we brought it all back to a game for free and like a suite and made it up to them that way. But yeah, it happens
In the
man.
moment, though, it was devastating for those kids, I'm
Yeah,
sure.
100%. So that's how it goes
The
sometimes.
players, they wanted to play, so out they went.
Well,
So
it's
the
just,
game
you know, when
goes
you're on these
on.
events, like you're on a script and it's like
Yeah.
second by second, right? So, and if things kind of go longer, a different way, especially if they're broadcast, like there's not much you can do.
No, it is what it is.
what it
live,
is.
live entertainment.
But I always love the multitasking on radio shows and everything when guys are reading text, going back and forth. I always think it's pretty impressive.
It's
So
fun.
I'll give you that. Maybe it isn't, but it seems impressive.
It's fun. It's relatively easy to do when you're set up for it properly. Like this
Yeah.
room's not set up for this.
No.
This room is not set up at all for multitasking,
No,
really.
it's not.
It's also not the design of the show in a sense. But
Right.
yeah, like we're not fully set up that way. In there, it's easy.
Yeah, you
know,
get the TV
we've got
screen in front
well,
of
we
you
got
with all
and
the
there's like
text
Dusty and
or
Eric. They have their
whatever.
monitors
Yeah,
next to them that they can
computer.
plug into. So there's
Yeah,
2
yeah.
monitors they could be going with their laptop and the monitor. And then you got the producer sitting there. There's a lot more. It's a lot easier to get done. The calling of the guest. That's because the reason Hernan called that late is that's how we usually always called that late. We always would call that late,
Yeah.
and we'd never call early.
Well, you probably don't want the people hanging around on hold for
Well, that was-
5 minutes either.
You just never know with guests, like how long they're willing to sit on hold for. Like I've been a guest on shows before. I don't care if I'm waiting on hold for a few minutes. It's
Yeah.
whatever. But there are some that are like they want to be on right away.
Yeah.
There's this one guy that I'll call. I'm not going to say his name, but like you call him and like he doesn't even like before. Like usually when you pick up the phone, you go hello or whatever. He just goes ready. And it's like, oh, yeah, throw you on hold. Like, no pleasantries at all. Just like, put me on hold. Okay, got it, done. Let's go.
Business.
So
all
I know for
business.
that one, you called pretty much right on time because they don't want to sit on hold.
I always like chat with the producer whenever I'm
Always.
doing a hit.
Yeah, why not?
like, I'm just what's
Well, the
going
producer
on?
doesn't
Yeah.
always have time either, though.
True. Usually they like there's just the pleasantries and stuff. I like it. It's just like
You go
hey,
as far
what's
as
up,
the
man?
producer's willing to take it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, if they want to have a couple quick, back and forth, I'll do
Yeah.
that with them. If they want to be like, yeah, no, got to put you on hold. It's cool. Put me on hold.
whatever.
I'm ready to go.
Yeah.
Whatever they gotta do.
Stephen Brunt was a guy I used to have on as a regular guest, though. And I would have to call him at the start of a commercial break. because he would just chat with me.
Yeah, that's cool.
And it would be hard to get him off the phone. Be like, hey, I got to put you on. Like, Mark Spector's waiting for you. Like, he's looking at me. I got to throw in. So I'd have to call him like 5 minutes ahead of time just so I could get through the chat with him, which was always wonderful. To then be like, hey, Mark's waiting for you. Here you go.
Yeah.
So.
Well, that story I was telling about the phone number is wrong. I mean, man, that's a bigger problem. I think that's a way bigger problem than if the guest just doesn't answer the call. Because if the producer's buzzing in my ear saying he's not answering his call, okay, then you're just going to wing it for a little while. But if you know that you've got the wrong number down and you got to dig back through your emails and because they're waiting and you don't want to, but. You know, just winging it, when you've done it as long as we all have, if you just got to wing it for a segment, I mean, you can do it.
Sure.
But, you know.
What's the standard backup when the guest is, you can't get a hold of the guest?
Well.
You start talking about the stuff like topics of the day, whatever the game.
Well, in my show, typically, it was 5. This year it's going to be 6 segments, but the 4th segment was always an open segment. If it was one of the first 3 segments, I just flipped to the open segment. In that 5-minute commercial break upcoming, then you can try to sort out that guest and maybe get him on later. And so I'd always just default to the open segment and just go through that segment and then try to deal with it later. That's my go-to. But if it was the final segment that happened when we've already done the open segment, then then you're talking about. How the kids doing, Stalker? What's
Open lines. Open lines.
It got easier as my time in radio evolved, and it wasn't because I was in the radio longer and it was easier to do. It was the text line was the biggest thing that
Fallback.
came
Can save you.
the 1260. It was before the text line. It's just you then, you and the producer. That's all you have to talk, and you're talking about whatever you can still talk about whatever's left in your mind. With text, you could either fall back on a conversation you're already having with those texters, or throw out a new question and just start engaging with those. And they become a guest on the show, those listeners.
Yeah, exactly.
And that was actually the best thing that happened once texting became a big part of radio, I would say.
The day we got shut down at the old shop, we were supposed to have AJ Jakubik on the next segment to talk Ottawa football and hockey. And Eric comes up to me. He's like, AJ just texted me asking if we're calling him. I was like, oh, my God. It was like, he's like, you guys calling? I was like, well, we would be, but as of 5 minutes ago, we don't have a station anymore. So, no.
Yeah.
It would have been great if he was our first guest on EST. Sort of.
The long-awaited interview that did not happen. AJ Jakubik.
This is the EST Hangout presented by White Claw, Matt Iwanyk, Reed Clarke, Murray McCourt, Tom Gazzola with you here. Want to get into the Parish Jewelers inbox, 780-218-9999. Big Maple with this text, more so for Murray. With the recent boom in the golf social media influencer stuff, they had an event at Myrtle Beach last week. One-day tournament with 8 Corn Ferry players and 8 golf YouTubers, with the winner getting an invite to a PGA Tour event.
Wow.
What is the overall consensus from traditional golf community? Is this like a live golf situation, or is it received as a positive step in reaching a bigger audience? I don't know if you heard about that.
I didn't hear about it.
What do you make of the idea of potential YouTube golfers beating some Corn Ferry players to get a chance to be invited to a PGA Tour event?
Yeah. I don't think they'd beat them because, I mean, if you're Corn Ferry Tour players, I mean, most of those guys, if they just got the right opportunity, they could play on the PGA Tour and be competitive any week. But, a YouTube player, just a random anybody is just not going to be at that level to be able to do it. So I can't see them actually winning. But hey, any exposure like that is just great exposure for the game. I mean, you can never, anything that brings eyes on the game is a good thing. And so I have seen no problem with that whatsoever. And glad it happened. And it's probably, if nothing else, it's exposing those Cornflare Tour guys to, maybe giving one of them an opportunity to get on a PGA Tour for an event that they wouldn't normally get. And who knows, if they get hot that week, they certainly have the ability to turn that into something pretty special.
My favorite golf influencer is Bob Does Sports. Have you ever seen Bob Does Sports?
Someone texted in that
Bob Does Sports.
a show.
He's fun.
And I searched it out afterwards, and it was pretty interesting.
Like
wasn't
he played against Max Homa, him and his buddy Joey Coldcuts. Yeah, it's like you can get caught in a rabbit hole, but then
We
it's
heckle
the same
golfers at the
shtick,
FedEx
and so
Cup.
I only
That's
need it every now and then. But he does some pretty cool stuff, and like one of the funniest ones he did was he told Joey Colcuts that they're going to like one of the nicest golf courses in around LA, and it was actually the worst rated golf course in LA. And Joey Colcuts was so mad. They only played
I've
like
seen that
7 or
one.
8 holes.
Well,
Yeah, it's pretty cool.
How fun was Max Homa on social media? I mean, he's backed
He's
off of
good.
it all now, but he
nothing
used to
wrong. There's
use,
the golf
you would send in your video of your swing, and then he would just roast you. Like that. It's so fun. I mean, things like that are just so awesome for those PGA Tour players to engage
Yeah.
with just everyday fans and whatnot. I think that's just spectacular.
See, that's like what social media and that's supposed to be like, but obviously it goes down a deep dark hole because people ruin everything.
Well said.
Yeah.
But I mean, the exposure for that would have been huge.
Yeah,
for those, get those
absolutely.
influencers involved. I'm sure it was. That's pretty cool.
I did watch, it was in my history. I've watched that worst golf course one before.
It was
and the
hilarious.
guy was just furious.
Joey
I remember.
Colcuts, yeah.
That
He's
they're
like,
playing
Joseph,
it.
this is going to be a great day. And they get to the course because he's sleeping. It's so early in the morning. And he looks, he's like, where are we? He's like, no, this can't be. He's like, Bob, this can't. Come on, Bob, what are we doing here? He's like, Joseph, I'm sorry. We're going to the worst golf course in the city.
Could you imagine, take that to a different sport? We were talking about basketball, obviously, with you. Could you imagine 8 YouTubers against 8 developmental league players, NBA developmental league players
G
in a
League guys or
slam
something.
dunk competition? Like, that's
I totally could. That would actually be probably a pretty good idea to make that
Well,
happen,
I-
right? Because there's guys who are just like, I mean, they're all over the place who just be in those contests. I think there's actually a guy from Alberta who's a crazy dunker and wins all these things too. So
really.
yeah,
So
yeah, that'd be cool. That'd be a
think
cool thing.
you think that just a YouTuber basketball fan could compete against a developmental
Oh, I don't
league
know. I
guy?
thought
in
we
a
were talking
dunk
If it's
contest?
slam dunk, that's a different
If it's a
thing. If it's a
contest.
skill thing,
Yeah.
I think that I would agree that they would have a shot. Like, who's the best slam dunk artist the last 2 years? A guy in the G League, not even the NBA. So,
Clone,
So
yeah.
that's my point, though. I mean, those guys are still phenomenal. They're gonna a YouTuber's not gonna be able to compete.
but this
with
is all like the slam dunk part. You're just learn. It'd be like, it's like the Globetrotters do these amazing things. Like, you're just practicing these craziness.
the
That's not
athleticism.
real basketball in a
Yeah,
sense, right?
get back to like the long drive thing. It's the same. If it was just that, I mean,
If
could
it's-
they hold their own in a game?
One-on-one, different story.
Probably not.
Yeah.
Probably not.
Bob does sports. Someone reminded me they have a guy named Fat Perez instead of Pat Perez. Fat Perez is hilarious. It's really good. So anyway.
And it's just golf.
No, they one time
Because
they
it's got
did
to
a
be more than golf.
pickleball
If it does
thing.
sports, it's got to be
Yeah,
more
they
than
did like a
golf.
pickleball thing with one of the top ranked pickleball players in the world. Like it's pretty, like they're pretty funny and they're personable people, and that the ones that are actually pretty good. And I do not condone this, although I completely and wholeheartedly enjoyed these videos. They'll do like a drinking challenge, like a beer a hole or a shot a hole, and
boy.
and these guys and you just watch their game start out pretty good, and then. It just takes a nosedive, and these guys are throwing up. It's
You've been there, done that.
not the throwing up, but
Well.
the too much swing lubricant isn't a good thing. Yeah, I've been there.
It can help you though. That initially,
You find that like right
It's-
spot.
you just
Yeah.
can't go over
Yeah,
the cliff.
If
Yeah.
you're doing every hole, that'd be a tough one.
Yeah.
But you get close to that cliff,
Oh.
you could be playing really well. Some people get better golfing. Straight up, I've seen
They
it.
do.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
They get better
Yeah.
golfing, and it's just then they hit the cliff, they fall over, and then it's all gone.
And you're like,
So you just
I'm gonna
got to make
beat
sure you
today.
stay right at the edge of that
You
cliff.
just got to know where the cliff is, and you don't
Yes.
always
Yeah.
see it coming.
That's very true, but that's why you got to practice. Got to go out there and you got to practice where that cliff is, and then one day you're gonna have it figured out and go, "This is where I stop."
Yeah.
Yeah,
And
watch
you're
out
gonna be
for
a
that
great
birdie
golfer.
juice.
And then the beer cart comes around, and your buddy wants to get you over that cliff.
Yeah,
So
And that's where you've got to plan this out and pace yourself properly with the libations.
but on a hot day, sun's out, you don't have anything to
great.
worry about, and you're just like, yeah, another one sounds great.
Got a White Claw in your hand.
Yeah, exactly.
I've got this lemon one, which is really
I
good.
wouldn't mind trying one of these.
Do you want me
Would
to
you
go
like one
get
right
you
now?
one?
Yeah, I'd love one.
They're in the box. There's lemon.
no, thank
Surprise
you.
me on whatever flavor.
So there's watermelon, lemon, raspberry, tangerine in this pack. It's variety
You know what
pack
the-
number 2.
with the beer cart, like how come where some courses don't have, like they don't believe in doing
'Cause they're not
the
very
beverage
smart.
cart? And I get like, oh, we can be a really fancy private course there, but why not have a cart?
So my attitude and belief on the cart, beverage cart is if you don't see the cart 4 times in your round, I'm livid. And, I'm having conversations with people at the golf course saying,
Yeah.
why did the beer cart not get around enough to service our
4
customers?
times in addition to
But
the
shouldn't you
turn.
get him?
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, that's a
And-
good
Oh,
one.
watermelon.
That's a great one.
There we go.
And my other belief
only 100 calories,
on
too.
it is I don't care what the weather's like, because a lot of golf courses, if the weather's crappy, they just call off the beer cart. Well, if you
I want
pay
a coffee. I want,
if you paid $100 to go play in the rain or $100 to go play when it's 25 degrees out, you still paid $100. You deserve the same service. So
Yeah, I didn't get a
at
discount
our
for the round.
Exactly. So you deserve beer cart service.
Does it
So you're
matter
gonna get it.
how many
Damn
people are on
right.
the tee sheet?
Yeah.
Sorry?
Does it matter how many people are in like a full T-shirt or
I
you
could
always
care
have?
less. If you
I
pay
love
the
this.
money, you deserve the service.
There's a golf course in Edmonton. Me and a couple buddies went a couple summers ago. It was like plus 36, 37 or whatever it was. We went golfing and there was no cart. We went in. Their concession was closed. We couldn't even buy water. We just
my
wanted
gosh.
water. We just wanted we finished
so-
9 holes.
That's dangerous.
We just needed a little bit more water to finish. Like that's all we wanted. And the guy's like, yeah, they're closed. And we're like, well, can we buy something? No.
Oh,
And so we had to go to the
unbelievable.
bathroom and fill up our bottles with tap water because we needed water. Like
Yeah.
it was just it's 36, 37 degrees.
I think you should
and
name
we
names.
ran out completely.
I think you should name names.
Name
So
names.
I think you
was-
should.
That was
We were just like, come on.
was that
Vicious.
2 years ago we had that, or was
Yeah,
it
I
3
think it
years
was 2
ago?
summers ago.
2 summers ago.
I think
okay,
it was 2 summers. So July 5th or something like that, early July.
Here's what I did when it was that hot at the ranch is we call them ambassadors, not marshals.
Right.
I went and bought a boatload of what are they? Not freezies, like not freezies, but what are the
Like the Pedialites? Like
the free kids love them.
Freezies.
Yeah, is it a freezie? But
You
it's still
talking
on a
about-
stick, like a like not popsicle. Popsicle. See. Good memory.
I got your back.
I went and bought a
look,
bazillion popsicles, and our ambassador would drive around and offer everybody on the golf course complimentary
Aw.
popsicles
That's
to
nice. That's
kind of cool you off
Yeah.
and give you something
are
refreshing.
great.
Yeah.
Yeah, no. I went to one place, couldn't even buy water.
That's ridiculous, man. That is ridiculous.
Yeah, that's. But why would you ever go back there again? Why would you pay money to go play a place where you get such terrible service? Doesn't make sense.
One thing that I've always loved about that puts courses in my good graces, not that it matters, but when you want to get that pork missile at the turn and there's a cheese option in the condiments box, and the ranch has
Yes,
that, Cattail has
absolutely, yeah.
that, Corey has that, but I just
They
find
also have
that
taco in a bag.
I know they have taco, in a
Taco
bag,
bag.
but I love
Isn't
the,
that something
That's
else?
pretty good.
I love a tube steak with a little dabble of cheese on top. It just puts it over the top. Chef's kiss. Absolutely.
Now, go back to some previous hangouts. You should go look at the weather forecast right now on the Weather Network and look at the weather forecast for the next week on Environment Canada.
Here we go.
Well, see,
It is not even close to the
There we
same.
go.
See, I always use Environment Canada.
Exactly.
They're saying today 8 degrees, Tuesday 6, Wednesday 6, Thursday 12, Friday 10, Saturday 10. Now I got to go to Weather
Yeah,
Network.
go Weather Network.
Okay.
And you do not see temperatures near that high. It's like, it drives me nuts. And
Well,
it's-
maybe they're more realistic.
I think
We had
Environment
this.
Canada is more realistic.
Clausen was here. We had
I
this
know.
discussion.
What do you say? So how are they getting their data? Is it from different?
It's how they
System.
I have
frequency of
now. I brought it up,
updating.
but I need to stay out of the
So
conversation.
there's a
now.
lot of, and
I'm gonna get
I'm
angry.
going to probably butcher this. So sorry, Josh. I apologize. There's a lot of different models, if I'm not mistaken. There's a website you can go to. Clausen even threw it out that day, spotwx.com, which shows you like a bunch of different models and stuff. And it depends which model you use and whether you want to combine them or whatnot. So Josh, and I think the Environment Canada, I don't know exactly how they do it, but Weather Network chooses one model and it could be really off. And today they're saying a high of 5. Environment Canada was saying 8. Tomorrow,
It's today, and that's a difference of 3. I mean, that's not
Tomorrow-
massive, but
tomorrow a high of 3. They're saying 6. Like Environment
Yeah.
Canada is saying 6. Weather Network saying 4 on Wednesday, 6 on Wednesday for Environment Canada. Later this week, like Friday 7, Saturday 5, and it's Friday 10, Saturday 10.
Boom.
Yeah.
Oh,
I mean, that's a
spring.
significant difference on how much snow's going to melt. I
Yeah.
mean, it is.
It's a pretty big deal.
When Josh was on here, we went at this pretty good because, like,
You
I
went
want
at
to,
Josh
I want to
hard.
sue.
He just yelled at John.
He yelled
Yeah,
at Josh.
well,
like,
you
how
know,
do you
I-
yell at an angel like that?
I know, like, because Weather Network just drives me nuts because it'll say that there's a 20% chance of rain showers, but the icon will be a cloud with rain
Yeah.
coming out of it, and it's like, are you out of your mind? Because people look
What
at
does
that
John, does
and
he
then
like
they
the
don't.
Weather Network? Is he
No, he hates
No.
it. He says don't. He said don't ever look at it. Okay.
Well, it's,
All right.
I don't know if he said, he didn't say he
He
hates
said it in a
Well-
nicer way, but
What you want, if you are looking for weather in Edmonton, CTV Edmonton, Josh Clausen's
Yes.
forecast.
He knows what's
Exactly.
up.
The news at 5 or 6. Check his weather blogs that he does. He throws them out on Twitter every day. I don't remember what he is on Twitter.
Okay. Well, it's been solved
That's
then. Yeah.
that's all you have to do.
Stop.
Don't
Delete that app.
I,
Mark.
I'll
Just delete that.
it's-
Right?
Well, but it's the app
Delete all
that
the
comes
apps.
for everyone's
Yeah.
phone, the auto app that everyone goes to because it's on everyone's phone.
make
and
sure it's not on the
it's
carts.
garbage.
Make sure it's not.
at Josh Clausen CTV on Twitter. He has it all fully.
There we go.
He's gonna post unless he's on vacation. He's got it. He's got it covered for you. So
Well, he should get an estimate for opening day, right? Based on
Well,
his forecast and how
I'm
the
telling
course
you,
is
based
doing.
off of
You
that
guys should work
forecast,
together.
The difference between
It's a collab
Environment
post right there.
Canada's forecast and Weather Network's forecast is such a massive difference in how much snow will go away. I mean, would we predict an opening day now? Of course not. But
Would
a
you
week-
right now? Would you predict
Okay,
an opening
No,
day right
I
now?
would not predict.
based off of that forecast of this week, where we're seeing 10 Friday, 10 Saturday. Let's say this all hits.
Yeah.
How long do you think it would be until you're like, okay, we're ready to start pinpointing an opening day?
Oh, that's a loaded question.
last time you were
I
here,
love this.
Yeah.
last time you were here, you said you're talking with your head groundskeeper, and it was really balmy. It was before we hit that last
That
cold
last
snap,
snow- and that last
And he
snowfall.
was like, in a couple of weeks,
be-
if it stayed like this, we might be open.
Okay, I'll say this: if Environment Canada's forecast is accurate, and we didn't get that big dump
Yeah.
that we just got, we'd be open in 10 days.
Wow.
Oh.
How much did that help the last huge?
Oh, it's hugely helpful.
That was a lot of snow.
Yeah, but we've opened one time ever in March, and I still think I wouldn't bet on it, but I think there's a possibility we could open in March.
Whoa.
Well,
Whoa.
if this forecast
news.
holds, let's say this week is what it is, and we don't see any more dips, we stay here. And if not
So
go
that would be
higher, like
Easter
I would have to
weekend then,
think.
Merc.
I would have
Oh,
to
yeah.
think.
Easter weekend
It'd be
opening
hard for it
day
not
could
to.
be.
Yeah, if I was okay, so I call a normal opening for us between 15th and 20th of April.
That's not happening.
Anything later than that is like I'm not very happy. Anything earlier than that, I'm happy. Like I said, we've opened in March once, but boy, like I would be hard pressed to think that it's not a first 10 days of April at the latest right now.
Over under Masters weekend. I'm going to take the over, which is it's going to happen before Masters weekend.
Wow.
That's my prediction.
Yeah,
That's just a prediction.
I would absolutely take that bet.
Reed, weren't you
For sure.
golfing in like December?
So, yeah, I was saying that December
Here?
22nd or 23rd.
Is that really golf though at that stage?
I mean, with my
everywhere.
game, not really, but it was. Getting the tees in the ground was not easy. It was definitely not easy there. But it was. You know what? It was a great walk. I had my earphones in. Obviously listening to this fine program.
Yes.
It was nice out. It was
You weren't
great.
sucking
I was
back-
the last guy on there. And they I think he actually had you could get a burger and a beer or something. Like they actually had the tea house open.
Just like you couldn't put the tee in the ground, I guarantee you weren't sucking back any wedges from 80 yards.
No,
'cause it was
that's not
bouncing
really
10
my
feet
game.
in the air
I like
and
to just
going
skull
somewhere.
them right on the end. A little bit of a snake raper, we call them, and then it gets to about
Depending on course, you
20
could putt
feet,
that whole course.
Oh, man. Yeah.
Yeah,
One
you-
little putt and it's just rolling.
But I was the last guy. Like I don't know if they were open. That might have been the final day. I think it was because it was 4:30. Like when I ended, it was late. So I think I was the last guy on there. It'd be cool to be the first guy on a golf course, like whenever it opens, and then to be the last guy on there. You probably are, but
No,
First
not
tee
me.
time of the day is the best tee time of the day.
No.
Yeah.
I do love though a late
Gross.
tea time too. Yeah. Like being as the night's ending, twilight, all of that. Those are two of the best tea times.
I don't know how you guys do those 6:50 starts. It's just
it's
The air, it hits you different.
gross.
50 a.m. or
yeah,
p.m.?
AM.
Yeah.
Like Reed Wilkins would always, you want to go golfing? Yes. Okay, 7:03. No. Why?
Because you go to bed at 3 a.m.
Yeah,
You're out
well-
drinking and partying.
Because-
Summertime.
No,
Because Tommy, you go and it's beautiful. Like as soon as you step outside, birds are chirping. It's beautiful. Air just feels nice. It's
Well, no
that
one's in
crisp
front
in
of
the
you.
air.
I mean, you're-
no one's in front of you, so you just go at a very nice pace. You're done. But when if you're starting at 7, you're done at 10. You got your entire day ahead of you, and you've already completed 18 holes of golf.
No.
You want to know something? Might even do another 18 later. Why not?
Well, that I respect and appreciate, but like
I could go later in the day.
birds will be chirping at
It's not the
10
same.
a.m.
It's not
the sun's out at
car
10
traffic
a.m.
is noise.
A little warmer.
Noise
at
pollution.
10 a.m.,
Thank you.
Ah,
Yeah.
No
There's
dew on the greens.
Thank you,
Yeah.
Murray. When I see the
That's
dew,
true.
I'm like, oh, gross.
Yeah.
I will wait.
The speed of the greens are a little slower with the
Yeah.
dews, and they get faster on you. You're like, oh, why
That's
did
how
I
you
just
have to
blow
deal
that
with it.
putt 8 feet by?
you always have to figure out when you realize greens are starting to pick up now.
You
Yeah.
go
Gotta
and you have
change and all
your
that.
morning
I will.
walk
I will.
like an 80-year-old lady.
How
The best
are
thing
you-
is, I was 18 and I worked in the back shop at JPL, Jasper
Oh,
Watch.
nice.
And stayed there for a summer. And the first tee time when we had was like it was 6 a.m. or something, and it was the old Premier Ralph Klein. And like but he demanded, he wanted a Coors Light and he wanted a hot dog. And like normally you don't open that stuff up until
It's
10 a.m. right?
illegal, Ralph Klein. But
Well,
yeah.
yeah, I mean maybe I'm saying that out, but we made it happen. We made it happen.
There may or may not be a
All right,
cold
Chief.
Coors Light in your cart, Mr. Premier.
So JPL just lost their liquor
Yeah,
license
okay, well,
because
yeah.
of what you did
Apologize
30,
for that.
30 years
Right.
ago.
they'll
They
run
would
it
never
back.
lose that. No, it's it's just wonderful. It's just on Tommy. We'll get you out one time. This next couple of years, we'll get you to a nice 6:30
There's
tee
a
time.
lot of things that are more fun to do at 6:30 than golf.
Yeah, like sleep.
No, and I'm a guy that doesn't wake up early. I hate waking up. I don't do mornings well. The only thing I'm good for is golf. It's the best. You don't even like the morning golf.
No.
tell you what.
I like the 10 a.m. golf. Well,
Yeah.
I've had my 11
don't-
o'clock Sunday morning tee
You've
time
got
for
that.
ever and ever and ever.
But you go to it depending on the course. You go to something like it's completely packed at 10 o'clock. It's just a slow Sunday, a slow Saturday.
You know what are great?
But if you're there
days?
at 6:30, you're
And
good.
You're gonna hate this, but the days where it's like looking iffy, and if you use the weather network, you're not really sure what you're gonna get clearly. But the ones that scare the people off early in the day, and it's a little bit quieter, and you get there and you're like,
Yeah.
oh, this is good. You can breathe. I know you don't like that, but
Well, we're prepaid tee times, so it doesn't happen.
oh yeah, that's right. So you've
We've
figured
solved that
out.
problem.
Yes, but I
You also
love
have
those
a good
days.
spacing between your tee
Yeah.
times.
Yeah.
What
That's
did you say?
so
You,
huge.
You gapped it 2 more minutes.
10, yeah, we were 8 minutes before COVID. We're 10 minutes now, and the average pace of play has dropped by like 30 minutes for sure.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, it's crazy how that difference.
Portions of this hour of the EST Hangout are brought to you by the Edmonton Blind Curling Club, which are hosting the 50th Western Canadian Blind and Vision Impaired Curling Championships.
Wow.
March 20th through the 23rd at the Granite Curling Club. I think Eric was just curling at the Granite yesterday.
Oh, he was. He was enjoying
He should
curling
do it
very much.
blindfolded and see how he does. That's impressive.
Come out,
Ask him,
support
he
the
pretty much
visually
was.
impaired athletes as they look to become champions of the West. It's actually really interesting. I've never heard of this.
That's cool.
The lead player has to be a totally blind person. The second could be non-visually impaired. Third and skip need to be visually impaired players.
Oh, wow.
But a very fascinating event. The 50th one, Western Canadian Blind and Vision Impaired Curling Championships, taking place March 20th, 23rd at the Granite Curling Club, who also have great food, Eric keeps telling me about. And Lucas Holt was there yesterday.
Sounds like Sport Edmonton should know about
I was
this.
just thinking about that. That is something we should be a part of.
Eric had a long, fun day at Granite Curling Club yesterday.
Was it a long day?
I think so.
I thought it's just the one game.
Well, it sounds like he had an epic time, though.
Oh, okay, because they've got the media launch bills this weekend coming up.
Billy Fortier was putting that together.
Yeah, and that's coming up. So
Yeah.
that's always a fun time to go out and support the team.
Is Eric a star curling player? Or
Yep.
We'll just call him
Yeah,
that.
we'll call him that. He loves the game.
I'm missing something. There's something in between the lines here, isn't there?
Well,
Well, it's not like
let's call
he's
him-
not Clarke Martin.
no, he's an old school curler. How about that?
He's just there to have fun.
Yeah.
Okay, so he's
Just
got
like
the
most people.
cigar and,
Oh, yeah.
and the beer and
Yeah, he's on the darts and he's
yeah.
having a beer.
And that's what this upcoming weekend's going to be for the Media Bonspiel. It's just one of those where it's just people. Some are decent curlers, some are average curlers,
Yeah.
some are absolutely garbage, but they're there to have a good time.
Right.
And I will go there
Nothing
to
wrong with
support them.
that.
With a pitcher of beer, and some great conversation with other people.
Well, you pretend be the coach, be the curling coach.
Yeah.
If they need a timeout, I'll come down.
Yeah.
I'll come down and I'll talk them through it.
Yeah,
I'll let
that's
them
what I
know.
think
Yeah, I
it
should
is.
do this.
Yeah.
Brad Gushu, once again.
Ooh, he almost didn't make the playoffs, and then he wins for fun in the end. Guy's good. His
He
team
is
good.
And I don't. How long until he's the greatest curler ever?
He's got to be in the conversation now, isn't he?
I think he's now tied with Randy Ferbey for most Brier victories, not as a skip, just overall. Because Ferbey, I think, has 6. Because I think he had 2 when he was Pat Ryan, and then he won his 4 as a skip. Gushu's got 6 as a skip. You know, Kevin Martin was the greatest curler, but now it's I don't know. Maybe we just we could have to start saying Brad Gushu's the greatest curler ever.
Yeah, he's got to be in the conversation. There's no question.
It was a rough week for the Albertas. Mm-hmm. All around. Even Botcher just couldn't get it done in the playoffs.
In the end, like, boy, he just fell apart, didn't he?
Just wasn't doing well. And I was in an office or a curling pool with a bunch of people, and I bet on Alberta in the 2 big playoff games, and that's what I was sitting first going into those. And Botcher cost me.
Oops.
So not
Well,
thrilled by that one.
How does curling do in rating? Like, has it been trending up? Is it?
That's a really good question.
And the sponsors and everything always impress me.
Oh yeah, in what way?
They one, how many sponsors they have, the names that are involved in it, and it doesn't seem to be going away. And maybe that's good as a curling Canada and everything, how much they've grown the sport and the event. But
I haven't recalled numbers in the last few years, but generally it does extremely well in terms of total viewership. Like it'd be hundreds of thousands of people tune in to watch that stuff.
Cool.
The only question I would have is I don't know what the demographics of those are.
Well, and that's
are we
like, is it
talking
very
about
targeted?
55 plus,
Right? Yeah.
where the youth aren't watching it as much, or is it actually no? It's a good, healthy demographic that this is going to continue for a long time. So I don't know, but from what I recall is that TV numbers, it actually does extremely well. It's like the CFL does extremely well. This past year, they saw the growth in the 25-54 numbers, which is that key demo.
Yeah.
But in years past, it wasn't as strong there. So
We did just have Clarke Martin on the Hangout a month ago, just before the Brier, and we talked about that a lot, about youth and curling. And he was talking about how many great programs there are in the city for getting kids involved in the sport and everything like that. So he was giving us the impression that he thinks that it's on the right path.
But that's for
right.
playing.
Sure.
For watching. Like, that's the other part to this. Like, I love curling. I watch curling all the time. Eric, too. We had Brier and Scotty's on all week, the last 2 of the last 3 weeks, because that's what we love. I don't know how many other 30-year-olds are sitting down following curling that closely.
Yeah. Well,
I don't think Tommy was going home watching curling.
I had it on one day.
Okay.
I was like, I need to check up on this. What's
are
going
you a
on?
30-year-old? You're not
I
that
look like
young.
one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, talk about people there. I saw numbers from the Brier that people were posting on social media, and they were really good numbers. They're saying, "Oh, look how big these numbers are." And then somebody from Edmonton tweeted,
Terry Jones.
I thought it was Terry Jones, but I didn't want to say it in case I was wrong. Tweeted out, "Yeah, but Edmonton had this number in this year and this number in this year, which was way bigger." And I think that speaks to where you are now, a sport. Edmonton shows up.
it always shows up.
Yeah. And so maybe the Brier should get back to Edmonton again, but
I don't think it will.
Why not?
Because if you're the Edmonton Oilers, are you sitting here saying in the month of late Feb, early March,
No.
I want the Oilers, I'm going to allow the Oilers to leave for 10 days?
That's a good point.
They did the world, like, I think you can't do it at least in the McDavid-Draisaitl era.
So
Because you can't have them, you don't want them going on a 10-game road trip.
no,
At
that's
some
true.
point. Like, they did the men's in 2017, I think it was, and they would have had those guys, but They weren't at this level now.
Yeah.
Like, can you go to the Oilers and say, yeah, the round trade deadline, you're going to be gone for 10, 12
No.
days?
How
Yeah,
about we
that's
put
it.
They'll say
$1
be
billion?
flexible on the dates, and he'd be like, "Well, we can't."
Exactly, right? And so it's they're building a place in Sherwood Park. I think just based on the attendance numbers, Scotties is a little bit lower. I think that would be great to bring the Scotties to the city once, because I don't know when the last time the Scotties would have ever been into Edmonton
Right.
in the area. But prior, I don't know. I don't see the Oilers really itching to bring. We've had, again, World Curling Championships, but the Brier still hasn't been here since 2012 or something.
Has it been that long? Now, you just talked about how happy you were that Montreal was spending $1 billion on the Olympic Stadium. How about the old Coliseum here? Get it going just to have the Brier. $1 billion. Get it
Oh,
going.
that's it's demolished.
Yeah.
That's been finalized.
It's a storage
I think
garage.
Did
right
Yeah.
now.
get finalized?
I think
Yeah,
like
it's
last
finalized.
year or something.
Yeah.
It got voted that they will demolish it. It's
Yeah,
just a
I
matter
don't
of
have a
demolishing.
timeline,
it.
but it's
Yeah.
it's somewhat soon. I
Well,
think.
yeah, it makes sense. But I mean, obviously, I was just joking. But
No.
that's,
Well, but with that, there was a lot of actually unique ideas of what to do with that.
Yeah,
there was
there
the
was.
idea of making it, putting a bunch of ice, like renovating it to have like 4 sheets of ice in there, so that
Yeah,
minor hockey could have
more,
more
yeah.
ice, and then
Workout
doing various
facility.
things where then you could maybe do more events like that. But it would have been a little, I think, too much competition with Rogers, and
depending
Rogers
on who you
doesn't want
talk
that.
to, it was very feasible or it was very not feasible. Right? I got opinions on both from different people on that. But that whole Northlands Coliseum and I guess like there's like some kind of transmitter or power plant. I don't know any of this stuff, so I'm just throwing out words. But below it, that's really like you can't just demolish it.
Oh.
I'd normally send, or like the whole neighborhoods lose power, something, right?
Oh,
And that
wow.
was built from a long time ago, and I think even tied into the old Edmonton Gardens, which is now really what the expo is,
Yeah.
right? So, I don't think it's as simple as what it is, which is why it's going to cost like what $15 million
Yeah.
or
Yeah.
something to knock down.
Hey, you were dealing with the expo center a lot. Is the ice plant still there?
No, it's
They
gone.
took out the ice plant. That's too bad.
Yeah, but they did redo all the pavement.
Yeah.
So they had to replace that anyways because it was all cracked.
Yeah.
So that's all brand new when they put in the new seats and everything. So could they get an ice plant and boards back in there? Yeah, they totally could.
Really quickly on the Northlands area, that's all marshland, or it was marshland. And I remember talking to the crew from the Rexall place, the ice crew, and the ice wasn't that good. The ice plant was starting to go. They're doing everything they can to make it work, but there was also like a lot of dips in the pad, and it was uneven. So, and they said by the penalty box, the ice was actually thinner because the ground had moved because it was all marshland.
Yeah.
And I remember talking to the guys, and they were telling me, I think it was George Waselenchuk. He's like, yeah, I was watching whatever team doing their morning skate, and they were bag skating these guys, and they were doing like tight turns at the penalty box area, and they were getting worried that those guys were going to hit the pad and cut too deep into it. So that place, it needed some love, but they just went and built a new one.
Didn't they rave about the ice there for years being the best ice in the league?
Yeah, it was, and then it just deteriorated
over time. Yeah.
They did everything they could. That crew worked so hard on it, but just the circumstances that they had to put up with as the years went on and it aged got tougher and tougher for them. But they tried. They were great. They hustled in there. That's for damn sure.
Yeah, figuring out what's going to happen with that land is going to be fascinating with what Northlands and
Well,
the old racetrack.
Yeah.
not much around there, so it's probably
Well, but
not
there's
gonna
been
be
various
much, yeah.
designs of like that have been thrown out there of like this brand new neighborhood basically
Yeah.
being built there to just growing the expo and doing all sorts of different things. But then this comes back to like the Commonwealth Stadium issues. Well, where's the money going to come from, and how are we going to do this? And then like
How does the Expo Center do now? I mean,
Well, I think the models change a lot. Like, I mean, they still hold giant shows. They had Beer Fest there. I think this past weekend. There's Comic Con. There's all those things that happen. I think the auto show. I don't know. Maybe it's been a few years since then.
Boat and
actually,
RV,
I think the auto show
big.
got canceled this year because
it?
there wasn't
No
enough
way.
interest.
I think there's I mean, the old school days of like these giant conferences that would come up and take up all the halls are not as frequent as what they used to be. So I think they're trying to adapt on what that model looks like. And then, they redid, where the Stingers played in the Flair Alliance hangar. I mean, that's a 4,000, could be 4,500 kind of seat venue, and with the new seats and everything, it's great. I think it's just about booking that, more often for if it's basketball, volleyball, dance,
Even concerts. I
I think it's a really
Primus there, and it was a great little venue.
a great
for
venue
a
for that,
small,
too, yeah.
If you get that band that's not big enough for Rogers, a nice little venue.
Geez, I went to a Wiggles concert there with
The
my
Wiggles.
kid.
The Wiggles.
It was a fabulous spot for a
I think they
concert.
sold out the
thought.
Wiggles.
It
Yeah.
did,
They're a big deal.
By the way, Primus sucks.
Well, the Wiggles was fabulous.
There you go.
That's a Primus thing. You Primus fans tell Primus that they suck.
I don't
That's
even
their
know what
chant.
you're talking about.
It's a band. South Park. They actually did the theme song for South Park. Primus. That's what they did. So
They have some interesting songs and music videos.
very much so.
Yeah.
Very much so. Me and Eric actually gonna go see Guar this weekend. This
wow.
upcoming weekend. Yeah, they're at
Not surprised.
Midway.
Okay.
Guar is something else.
Don't they have a pit? Don't they throw everyone down in this pit or something?
Guar shoots blood and other things into the crowd.
Oh,
That's hardcore.
They've been doing it for years.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
Murray, you have no idea.
Thanks for the
hardcore.
invite. Where's my
Yeah.
invite?
You wanna come?
No,
Where
absolutely
you're not ready
not.
for it, and I don't know if you'll ever be ready for
No,
it. To be honest.
I
It's,
will- I will
That's
that
the
might be a
band.
good thing.
Oh,
That's Guar.
my God. My
you
son
that.
might like looking
Guar's
at
hard.
that, thinking that it's some monsters or something. I don't know.
Well, and they're like, I think the whole they're aliens that have come here, and they like put on their show
son
based on this
loves
backstory, and
Sick.
they have all these
Oh,
other
man.
things come up on stage, and they kill them and stuff, and
okay.
blood shoots places. I'm not gonna lie, I was always scared to go see Guar because I was like, I don't feel comfortable going. And then they did the big, the Oilers put on a big metal festival out at Kingsman outdoor a couple of years ago, Chaos. And I went to go see Guar there because I'm like, this is going to be like the best place to see them for the first time for me. And I love them. And I'm like, I'm never going to miss them again. I will go to the smallest concert venue.
Do you
and
blast
go watch
Guar
them.
on a Sunday in your palatial?
I'll throw it on every so often.
Place? Yeah.
It was I had it on at 1260. We had Metal Monday. I think we
Yeah.
only had like one Guar in the system. I played Sick of You like every couple of weeks because it was just great.
Okay.
It's fun.
Just so
and
you don't-
people will go in like white shirts to get it covered. It's
boy.
the best.
Just so you
It's the
don't feel
best,
too
right?
bad, though, I got offered Linda Ronstadt tickets at the Jubilee this past Saturday, and I turned that down too.
Yeah.
Oh,
So-
that would be an elegant night.
Well, yeah, no,
Little different than Guar.
yeah.
They're-
very
They
different.
they
Opposite ends of
provide
the
a little
scale.
bit of different of entertainment
I need
value.
something somewhere in the middle of that. Somewhere in the middle to
Just a
get me
spectrum there,
to
yeah.
go. Yeah.
Go ahead.
Oh, I wasn't even gonna say anything.
I
The only
thought-
thing that came to my mind was Kiss played the AFL Championship, and it looked awesome.
Oh, really?
Yeah, Australian
Yeah.
football. It. Those stadiums must be like 80 to 100,000. They're massive.
They're huge.
And then Kiss played it, and then they had like
I
a
thought they
couple
were
hundred.
retired.
No, they played, and
You
I
gotta
watched.
be old. Holy.
Yeah, but they sounded good. They looked good. And then they had like a couple hundred kids go out there and dance, and there's like flames in the middle of them, and they're all done up in Kiss face paint and the costumes, and they had a good dance going. It was I was like, damn,
not?
this is
Why
great.
not, man?
AFL doesn't mess around. Like
Yeah.
they bring in big ticket names, and yeah, it looked great. I just saw that. That's the only thing I could think of. As we were talking
Their
about
domestic
Guar.
league, like their basketball league, is legit too. In
Is it?
Australia
Yeah.
too? Yeah, yeah.
Wow.
I mean, a lot of people say like, I mean, there's Euro League, and then that's probably like number 2. But they don't mess around. All their stadiums are full. They're like the promotional side, the marketing, everything they do. Their sponsors, it's cool.
Watch
They do
out,
a good
hockey's going to be big there.
Yeah,
They
could
just
be.
went there.
They
Could be, man.
the NHL's going back there. They
No.
they had a good experience. Was it going into this year? They said it was great. Yeah, Dennis Bernstein was down there from the fourth period, and he said, you know what? It was phenomenal. There was lots of jerseys there, and both games, I think it was, were completely sold out, and they're going to go back.
So, were you an actual basketball player growing up? Like what?
Yeah. I mean, I played all growing up from community league to high school. Yeah, coach my kids. Still play Tuesday night pickup, and like now, like when I'm 42, it's like a full court game. Basketball is not easy. Like it's tough. Like it's just a lot. It's a lot of
battle.
running. It's like you got to be in somewhat decent shape, and I'm not. But it's fun. Yeah, you got to do it.
Yeah.
So you can't.
So, was that your sport though? Growing up, you were always
Yeah,
into
basketball
basketball.
was pretty much always a sport. I played a couple years of hockey.
Yeah.
And I quit. And I think I could. Like I was captain, I think I just got the jersey with the C on it, to be honest with you, for my team, and I quit to play basketball. And my dad played hockey too. He actually had a scholarship to Brown University in the States, and then played U of A. And he told me he played in Switzerland. He told me he got a 10-day with the Red Wings. I don't know if that's actually true or not. He's passed away now, but I think I could have been probably a better hockey player if I would have stuck with it. But is what it is.
Yeah.
The heart takes you where it wants to.
Exactly. It's in the stars. I always say.
Now, you two have just been working together on some stuff.
Oh,
You were modeling.
Awesome. You go ahead, Reed. You go ahead. That was cool.
Yeah, it was cool. So, merging. So, side business I have called Ross Flats Vintage Apparel. I've had it for the last 5 years or so. I'm merging with City of Champs Apparel. A buddy of mine, Sean Hill. He makes really nice quality stuff. I've been doing really good with my Trappers trademark that I've owned for a few years now. I'd say the stuff, my quality of merchandise has been okay, but we're taking definitely a step up, so banding together. So with that, we're doing full legit Trappers jerseys. So the first one we're going to launch is kind of the 96 Trappers one. So we got a all black version that's legit.
It is.
And then we got a white, and then the teal pinstripes one that's even more legit.
It is.
So we're dropping those with a whole bunch of we've got hoodies, t-shirts, new hats, and everything coming out. So we had to do a little photo shoot and reached out to my buddy Steve Hogle at the Riverhawks in Remax Field. And we invited Tommy to come out there.
That was cool.
And OG Jonah, who's a local rapper and influencer.
He's an interesting guy.
Yeah, he's a beauty. He runs deep too.
Yeah.
You don't just get OG, you get about 4 or 5 people.
His crew.
Yeah.
He's got an entourage.
Yeah, he does.
Yeah, and I know that. And that's hard because he helped us out with the stingers and stuff too. And so we did a little photo shoot down at Remax to promote some of the jerseys. Yeah, some of the videos and photos coming out have been pretty nice. But
I've never done anything like that
You've
before.
never modeled?
No.
You've never been approached to model?
You were
No,
kind of a natural at it. I mean, OG was a natural.
OG
he
I'm
knows
like,
what's
this
up.
kid's-
He
no,
knows.
yeah, this kid's am I standing okay? And the photographers were great, and I was just like, okay, I hope there's something in there. And Sean seems to be happy. You seem to be happy, but OG gets in there and he's like, bam, bam. I'm like, this guy knows what he's doing. I'm like, I feel like a dumbass beside him.
You're just a natural, though.
No. But you're right. I was talking to Sean, and Sean worked. Does he still work for Nike, or he used to
He
work?
used to
I
work
was
for
gonna
Nike.
ask if
Nike
that's,
Golf.
Sean.
Yeah. He would have been calling on me back
he's
in the day.
That's a very common name, so I wasn't 100% sure, but it kind of makes sense if it's in the the merchandise like that.
Yeah.
And he was in the clothing business with Nike there for a while. Yeah.
And the ideas he was telling me that you guys are cooking up, really cool. Because with the Ross Flat stuff, it was like, okay, yeah, you want to get a sweatshirt or a hoodie, a t-shirt, baseball tee. The hats are great.
Yeah.
And now Sean's like, yeah, now we're lifestyle stuff.
Totally.
Legit,
Bomber
really
jackets.
Bomber jacket, yeah.
Yeah.
And,
Some kind of knit sweaters we're coming out
Yeah.
with. It'll be cool.
And those jerseys, phenomenal. And he's like, Tom, it's like, you got to find the right factory and this and that. And I have my connections through Nike, and we put this together. And I'm looking at this jersey. Thank you, by the way. It's phenomenal. I'm going to be wearing it every Riverhawks game.
He's got a custom on.
Yeah.
Well, and Reed was one of your later prototypes last time you were
Yeah,
here.
yeah, last
and they
time, yeah.
look sharp.
Yeah.
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 They were
So
just
we
beautiful.
got the finished part. I got one of the finished ones because you said that one needed a couple little tweaks,
Yeah, I need a
right?
couple of tweaks on it.
Yeah, and now I'm just like, I look at that. It's in my closet with all my jerseys. I'm like, it's going to be worn a lot this summer. Yeah.
You don't have a lot of jerseys.
No, I don't. There's that one,
You've
my
talked about
Carson
that.
Palmer, my Larry Fitzgerald,
No,
my
it's-
Mike Riley, and my Warren Moon, and then my Trappers 18 Gazzola. An old middle reliever. Anybody looking at?
Did you pick 18 or did you give him 18?
No, that's my number.
Yeah,
That's your note.
Yeah,
Just-
Reed
he
was
has
like,
on
what
that.
number did you
What
have?
number you want? Yeah, but it's not. It's all stitch. We're not doing sublimation.
No,
on,
it's not
jerseys.
print on it and stuff like that.
It's really quality, and when we drop the price of stuff, it's gonna be very reasonable. You'll be able to get a custom jersey for I think $100 with
Even
your own name
today?
and number.
Well, how do you get
that's
How do you get this stuff?
how do you get this stuff? Well, we're dropping. So on March 28th is going to be our launch party. So it's going to be down at Remax Field, the home plate lounge. I think the field's going to be open, hopefully, if the snow is melted.
Environment Canada thinks maybe.
Maybe.
Weather
maybe.
Network is a no.
But we keep, it was going to be 100 people, and then we had to push it to 150. Now we're at 175. It's going to be a bit of a vibe there. I mean, we've got We got my buddies at Fuge Sausage doing hot dogs for us. We got Trapper's Beer with Alley Cat coming out,
Which
too.
is great, by the way.
Yeah, that's coming there. We'll be doing some prizes. So you're gonna have that's your first chance to sort of buy all the new merch we're dropping there, and then we'll drop it online afterwards in a few stores you can get on board as well. But yeah, it should be cool.
Is there going to be a tie-in with the Riverhawks? Because I know you and Hogle.
Yeah.
So I don't want to give away too much, but
Yeah, I mean, I don't think they've released all of their like promo schedules, but we're working on a Trappers Day, and it might be Father's Day Sunday. So we're talking jerseys, hats, probably a collab on some gear. If we can get the beer involved as well, like it's gonna be a nice tie and be a pretty good fit.
people like even today, I quickly looked on Instagram. People are still like, "Hey, when is this available? Hey, how much? Hey, what's the password for the website?" I text Sean. I'm like, it's like I had a buddy, like one of the Gretzky boys reached out. He's like, "I want to buy some of this stuff." And what's the password? I'm like, I don't know. What are you talking about?
Yeah, we're getting there. We're getting there. So yeah, 28th though. 28th will be that's party, and then we'll drop it probably next
Big
day.
day, yeah. Well, I think you hit the nail on the head too when you talk about the lifestyle pieces, like because obviously we sell a lot of clothing, and that's the way it's going. Like you gotta get it, like the hoodies and the more casual wear things that you can wear on and off the golf course and things like that is where people are spending their money. So. You probably got yourself a home run there. No pun intended.
Oh, Uncle Gene.
No, it's it's good. It's like real like thick hoodies. All the details are really dialed in from the embroidery level and stuff. It's cool. So I'm excited about it. It's gonna be a fun night, and I'm looking forward to where it's gonna go. And some of the logos on Ross Flats, like. Some of the other Trappers ones will be dropping to the E logo, which is the old Edmonton Eskimos from 1914 baseball. We're gonna bring that guy.
I love that
back because that one, like I just started like experimented a couple tees and hats with it, but we'll take those lifestyle pieces are gonna be really slick.
I see the Edmonton Eskimos 1914 baseball team hat a lot in the city. It just looks nice.
Yeah.
Well, and I had a buddy. I had to ask you for a couple of those because a buddy that I met through hockey school was from Chicago. He's like, "What is that?" And I explained it to him. He's like, "Can you get me one of those?"
Yeah.
And he loves it. Like, he'll send me pictures like wearing this at the White Sox game. I'm like, cool.
It's pretty cool. You can actually find like a legit image and then take that logo and kind of trace it out and get that redone. And then you can tie it back in and be like, "Hey man, look at this picture. This picture it looks made up. This doesn't even look real."
Yeah.
And they had it on there and we're bringing that back, right?
Yeah.
So it's cool to tell that story.
And how many calls have you got to do more modeling?
Yeah.
Zero. Not surprisingly.
You sure? I can't believe that you've never had a model before or anything.
No.
Like with the Oilers or something, they ever be like, "Hey, Tom, we're doing these things. We need you to like throw this on, take some pictures."
No.
Yeah, your hairdresser hasn't got you to
Chantal?
hasn't got you modeling at a hair
No,
shows.
she just mocks me mercilessly. It's a game for her.
What does she mock you for?
Everything. She's great. She keeps me humble.
She doesn't mock your hair.
No, that's her prize.
Yeah, okay, 'cause that's what they say. Like, if she's mocking you, mocking your hair, it's like, well, that's not a smart move right there. You're the one doing it.
Actually, when we were on street team, this was before you got to 1260.
Yeah, you were on street team.
I
well
was on
before
street
I was even
team
there.
with Raimai and Dalby, and
Dolby too.
Dalby was on street team. Anyway, we were doing an event at the theater at West Edmonton Mall, and the lady doing the event came up to me and she's like, "Would you consider modeling for some stuff?" And I was like, yeah, sure. And then she tried to like line me up for some things. I'm like, "I'm not doing this. I can't. I'm an idiot. I don't like this stuff. That's not me." But that was cool, and like they were great. So hopefully there's some good shots in there.
That and the Coolio Remax, like we did a couple on the Congress. It was cold that day. We wouldn't have been on the field, or we didn't get in the seats
it
or
was
anything.
nipply.
But the locker room shots are pretty cool.
How,
Because the locker room there hasn't really been touched since the 90s.
Yeah.
So it's still got like the teal, the wood framed. Like it screamed the 90s teal.
Yeah.
96 Trappers gear that we're up. Like it's exactly that. And there's kids in there and they're blasting me. It was just that. It was a good vibe, right?
The Riverhawks do have a good. That clubhouse feels good though. Like they were playing ping pong. They had arcade games in there, and the weight room was going. Like they make the most of it for sure. But you're right. It has that 1995.
It has been touched, which was what we wanted.
That's
right?
perfect.
Yeah.
How was your White Claw, by the way?
That was pretty good, actually. And
Watermelon's a top flavor.
Yeah.
Like it's one of the
watermelon's
better
nice.
ones. Yeah.
I'm not a big seltzer guy, but I like that. Yeah, I could.
You can have
I
another.
could be into a couple more.
Lemon strong. I don't think I've ever had the tangerine, and we got the tangerine,
tangerine's
so I'm
fine.
very excited to try that one this week at some point.
The things you get excited about: tangerine, seltzers, and
Well, there's so many good flavors.
concerts that they're going to shoot blood at you. I mean,
Yeah,
yeah.
you got to come
No.
Sunday night,
Sunday night.
like 7.
That's what time I'm getting ready for bed, man. Sorry.
It's like even early. It's not even like 11. It's like 7.
7, yeah. That's bedtime in my house.
Well, one of these days.
Yeah.
I'll get you to Guar one of these days.
Guar it up.
Maybe just play me a song, and that'll be enough.
Start there.
Yeah.
Sure. Gladly. After this, I'll actually, they did the NPR. Lucas from Whale and Wolf showed me. NPR does this thing where they, in like a very small room, they bring the big names and they perform like a mini concert.
Does Guar have any like
And
ballads?
they did that. Cool. No, but no, they like did their thing like in this very small room that like NPR has, where like Taylor Swift has come in and Ed Sheeran has come in, and they've had all these various artists come in
Now you're
into
talking.
this little office space that looks like just like bookshelves, and like it's very small and quaint. And the Guar did it once. NPR had them. Public broadcaster of the U.S.
Rock ballads, though. Now that's a good genre. I like
Yeah,
that.
yeah. You get some of them. I feel forced. Certain bands they try to force one, but the ones that hit, fantastic.
Fantastic.
Yeah.
I agree. Well,
Well, there you go.
you know what? We haven't even talked about Oilers. Huh? We got 15
No, we haven't
minutes.
talked to Oilers.
We
Oil
touched
Stream
on
coming
it.
up
Yeah,
at
we
noon.
touched on it.
Dusty and Gazzola live at the Nemeo Center, and another chance to qualify for the chance to win the trip to Las Vegas. Also, that's coming up in the Lock Shop. I don't know. Is there like a fine road trip? 5 points out of 8. Like, I don't know. They finished off with, whenever they finish off a road trip with when everyone's happy. Like there's not much to complain about. I think the story from yesterday is how sad is it for Sidney Crosby that he's still in Pittsburgh.
Oh, come on. He's had a good time.
Yeah.
He's been okay.
Yeah.
I don't think we should be crying for Sid the Kid. I think
Yeah,
I think he'll
he's
be
been
all
up.
right.
Well, but Tommy was saying they threw out a stinker the other day, and the roof was falling in
Yeah.
again. It's like, oh, come on, you're allowed to have a bad game.
Yeah.
It's okay.
We were reminded yesterday that we condoned the loss and we made it okay that we
Pretty
approved
much your
Thursday's
fault.
loss. Yeah,
Pretty
so
much, yeah.
but it was interesting when they lost. Listen, they played bad in Columbus. They didn't play. They played one good period in Buffalo. No disagreeing with that. But we actually had the comment, or a couple of people said, "Guys, I'm worried about the way they're playing. You know, they can't keep playing this way." And I was like, "Hang on, they just had a 5-game winning streak snap. Wait a sec." Because you're reading a text and you're like, "Yeah, I'm on board. Okay." You're like, as you're going along, I get where this person's coming from. And then I read this text, well, I just don't like the way they're playing, and it concerns me going into the playoffs. And I'm like, okay. And I finished the text, and I was like, wait a sec. They just rattled off 5 straight wins. So you can never satisfy all of oil country. And yes, their game is not perfect. Yes, they have holes in their game. Is their deadline a home run? No. But we'll see.
What's everyone's take on Henrique a couple games in?
Oh, they don't like him.
The fans don't like Henrique.
Yeah, overpay. That's,
Well, he hasn't scored a goal.
That's what we're getting.
It's been 3 games.
Yeah, he's
Hasn't produced.
They're worried about Clarke already being a healthy scratch. Why isn't Stetcher playing?
Carrick was 8-0 in the faceoff circle the game before that. Got in a fight. I mean,
People will be happy when this team eventually
he's just
wins.
fine.
With it,
He's a
exactly.
fourth liner.
Well, it's just gonna be tough. You got to battle your way basically out of the division in the playoffs. You got to go through Colorado, like it's
Or Winnipeg.
or Winnipeg.
Or
Like,
Dallas.
it's gonna be. It doesn't matter where they end up. It's gonna be tough.
Yes.
And my only take is like, to put it in kind of a basketball really. I just don't want them to turn into the old Sacramento Kings or the Phoenix Suns who
Oh,
have
yeah.
MVPs, have great teams, and can get to Western Finals, and that's about it, right?
Great
That's-
pulls.
That's I don't know. That's just gonna be tough, man. It's gonna be a battle, right?
Yep.
It is kind of like the
gonna be
NBA.
a
You got to
battle.
get through the West, and it's tough. I mean, not the East is. They got some great teams with Florida and Boston and stuff too. But
Yep.
Because I like the Winnipeg Jets.
Me too.
That's a good hockey club.
It's a nice roster. Mm-hmm. Top to bottom.
just gotta get some fans now. Yeah, and they'll be set.
The Celtics are having an incredible season, by the way.
Celtics.
I just
are-
realized, like, recently how great this season actually is right now. It's like one of the like on pace for like the 5th or 6th best season
Couple
ever.
stinkers lately, but they're okay. And I mean, yeah, we were able to go. I think last time I was on here, I was saying I was going to Boston, and I went. So a good friend of mine who I grew up with and played at Ross Shepherd High School with me. We went with Dave Youngs, who's 30 years coaching at Ross Shep, and just he's going to retire this year to go see Jermaine Buckner, who was one of the players played with, and now he's an assistant coach with the Celtics. So he took us around. You know, and like tickets and stuff is fine, but he's like, yeah, come down in between, you know, start of the game and watch the guys warm up, which is at
That's
the Garden
cool.
is
So
ridiculous.
sweet, yeah.
And then go to the practice facility that they built, and it was pretty cool. I guess like the Bruins and the Celtics practice facility are right next door to each other, and they're by like New Balance, like kind of sponsored or did both of them.
Yeah.
But it's impressive, man. From the details, like when people talk about, you know, organization, the culture, like the Celtics have a real culture. You pull into the parkade, even like the ball boys and the janitors have a plaque that has their name on it. There's a quote right away from Red Auerbach. There's this like music playing that everyone picks a different music on a record player, branded. Like, and there's quotes everywhere that people also like respond to, the players, the coaches, and just the facility. Like they've got a white banner hanging up there for their next championship, right? It was dialed in. I love seeing all those details because when you're talking about running an organization, like you're talking from the top down, everything is dialed in.
You said a white banner for the next, like as a
Next one.
placeholder for the next
In the
one.
training facility. Yeah.
That's
They
brilliant.
got 2 courts, they got a workout
like that.
area, they got like the physio, the pool. Like it's unbelievable.
Yeah.
The kitchen, like the coffee machine had a Celtics, like a, you know, like a Keurig, whatever, those like espresso coffee machines, but it had like a Celtics little logo with like a coffee hat on. Like, but every like tiny thing there is taken care of. It's unbelievable.
So I've been a Celtics fan my entire life, so I'm just keep talking. I want
Well,
to keep
Pete
hearing
Pritchard
all
was
about
there,
this.
who plays. He's their backup point guard.
You don't have to feed into Murray here.
He's it's his birthday, and it's like 10 o'clock at night, and we're kind of walking around because we want to go. Like, I'm like, hey, if we're gonna go, we're gonna shoot around.
Yeah.
We gotta wait till Peyton. He's with his buddies, and he's just working on his game. Like, he's there for 3 hours. So we finally got on the
That's
court
good
at
to
like
hear.
whatever 11 o'clock at night, and just go shoot around and stuff, which was awesome. But
They've been talking about trading him for 2 years because he hasn't lived up
he's
to
a
it. But it's
beast,
great to hear
man.
that he's working on his game.
and the coaches love him.
Yeah,
they love him.
good.
It's like
So I
this
hope he
guy's a
stays
gym
then.
rat. He just
Yeah.
puts in the work every day.
Yeah,
right?
good.
But
He has some great guys to learn from that
totally,
he's been
yeah.
playing with there.
Yeah.
Yeah, Brad Stevens. He did great things. Why am I forgetting what school he was at again in college? What was he coach of?
Butler.
Butler, I think
Butler,
you're
yeah.
right. And goes to the Celtics. Did great things as a coach. Now just running it, and it's just wherever he goes, good things follow him.
And fabulous decision. The timing for him to step aside as the coach to become
go up
the
higher.
president was, but then the coaching problem. The coach they brought in did so
okay.
well, but then
There was
whatever happened
Well,
with
they
him
didn't-
that he
They
got
managed to get
ousted
through
and-
that perfect.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Put him, suspended him, then moved on from him, and there's been no blip in the road basically
Yeah.
for the Celtics. It's I hate it. I hated it completely.
Yeah, sorry
as a
about
Laker
that.
fan,
Yeah.
but you got to respect what they're doing
Hey, I'm
over
sure
there in
they
Boston.
got. Yeah, I mean they got the second best organization.
but they
in
they
the
still
NBA.
the Celtics
Yes.
still got to win though. I mean they've had a team that the last couple of years that could have won and haven't.
Well,
so maybe this year they'll get.
I
over
feel
the
like
hump and
it's
do it again.
looks pretty good for them to at least get it through the East. I would have to say, but
Wow.
we shall see. The playoffs are a different animal.
They got a
didn't
chance,
expect
man.
to get beat by Miami last year in the
They got a
in the
chance.
playoffs though. That was crazy.
Butler's great. Reed, thanks for coming in again.
Hey.
Again, if people want more information on both Sport Edmonton and Ross Flats.
And cityofchamps.ca.
Yeah, citychamps.ca is what we're going to actually call the new company. So citychamps.ca and then sportedmonton.com. Hit us up.
Well, there you go.
Murray,
There you
VIP Golf Show, April 28th, Sunday, returning.
Ranchgolf.com. Who knows when we're going to open?
Murray said next week. No, I'm just kidding. He did not. He did not.
Whoa, settle down.
Murray did though say he liked the bet of the idea of the ranch being open before the Masters.
Yes.
He did like that bet.
I would make
love
that
so-
bet.
love
I
how
would
you
make
deep
that
dug
bet.
there.
Yeah. Next.
I don't want
week.
to put Murray in a bad spot there. With that
Whoa.
one. Went a little far on that one. Tommy, you're off to the Mayo Center,
Right
Oil
now,
Stream.
right away, yeah.
At noon, you and Dusty. But coming up next, it is the Lock Shop. Dusty and Huss. They'll be recapping the weekend in sports, looking ahead to tonight in sports, as well as your next keyword for the trip to Vegas, thanks to EST, Fly YEG, and the LCVCA. On behalf of Tommy, Murray, Reed, I'm Matt. Thanks for tuning into the EST Hangout presented by White Claw. We're back tomorrow with another keyword as well, but Lock Shop coming up in just a few minutes. Thanks for tuning in.
Let's go.
There you go, right in front of the camera.
First time guest, long time listener, fan of the original draft commissioner.
Welcome to the EST Hangout presented by White Claw Hard Seltzer. The difference is clear. Matt Iwanyk, Tom Zola with here. Joining us today,